Hello, everybody, and welcome in to the final episode of Winter is Blooming, our Game of Thrones rewatch podcast, which is concluding today. We capping off a wonderful year and a half with a 5x5. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with our 5x5 format, it's something we've done a few times here on the podcast. We've done it for Star Wars, I think, a couple times now. We've done it for Marvel stuff. We've done it for a few things. Let me see. We did it for Valentine's Day. We did it for Halloween last year. Yeah, we've done 4 or 5 Star Wars, live action comic book movies, Valentine's Day, and Halloween. So very broad spectrum. And this one is going to be our Game of Thrones 5. All a 5x5 is 5 top 5s. Now, that typically sounds a bit lengthy, but we bent the rules a little bit for this 5x5. What it is that me and Joe each have a top 5, and from it'll be top 5 favorite main characters, top 5 favorite supporting characters, top 5 favorite performances, top 5 favorite duos, and top 5 favorite episodes in Game of Thrones. And it's going to be a great deal of fun. We did bend the rules a little bit when it comes to main characters and performances. There's only one set of 5 that we agreed on, versus all the other have each of us get our own list. So, with that, I'm Colton Robertson. I'm joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
Oh, what up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. You ready to fucking 5x5, baby?
It is 11 in the morning, but I do have a glass of wine. I can't take advantage right now, so I figured why
Tyrion
not?
would be proud.
That is why. This is for Tyrion. This is for you. I wish it was made by him. I wish it was his honeycomb and or whatever he'd call his wine. I don't know. Did he have a
I
name
remember he
for
wanted.
it or
Yes, he had a vineyard he wanted to like open up. I can't remember what it was, but like that could be a nice Dornish red. It could
Mm.
be.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah. It is St. James from
mm,
middle of nowhere, Missouri, local for us. So I don't know.
Saint Jimmy,
It
gotta
felt
love it.
right. Yeah. It felt right.
No,
But
yeah, unfortunately, I can't take advantage. Fuck. God damn it.
yeah.
No, but if you're ready, we can go ahead and kick this bad boy off with our top 5 favorite main characters in Game of Thrones. We obviously took quite the journey
Mm.
with Game of Thrones. We got to know these characters better than we ever have before. A set of characters that we felt we already knew as well as we possibly could. Um,
Oh,
and
we were
now
wrong.
here we are a year and a half later, having spent every week with them. Who are our top 5 favorite main characters from Game of Thrones? We will start from the bottom. We will work to the top. So the criteria here, the reason we separated main characters and supporting characters is because Game of Thrones has so many fucking characters. It's impossible to just pick your top 5 favorite characters because you end up going with main characters because you kind of have to. How are
Mhm.
you going to not go with some of the main characters? But you got to shine a light on those supporting guys. So we're going to do that a little later, but we are going to start here with the main characters, which typically consist of nothing but, Lannisters, Starks, Baratheons, and Baratheons kind
Mhm.
of a stretch with some of them, and Targaryens, like those are the team. So, um, what's our 5? You go ahead and kick us off. What is
Oh,
our
I get to do
5th
the
favorite?
honors? Oh,
Yes,
wow. Thank
bring us
you.
in.
Thank you. The I mean, season 1 alone is where this man comes from, and he haunts the show for the rest of the time. So it only felt right to keep him in here. It is Ned Stark. He had to be in here. And once you get to 4, that's actually like I don't know, like 3 I feel like and above is like the different tier for me
Mhm.
personally, but like these two are still like it's incredible that Ned is here and there's a lot of other characters that are just right below him that didn't quite make it, but
Mm.
we had to squeeze him in here, right?
Dude, Ned Stark,
Yeah,
man. That's Ned. That's Neddy boy. I love Ned.
yeah. kick.
Like you said, he's only in season 1. He haunts the show for the rest of the time the rest of the runtime. You
Mhm.
know, it's one of
Starts
my favorite characters in fiction, one of the most
definitely.
honorable men you've ever met. Um,
Mhm.
just a really good guy, and I felt like in Game of Thrones, we
Too
needed a real.
honorable? Is that a
Yes,
thing?
yes,
I think
uh,
we've learned. I think that is the lesson of Ned Stark. Um, is that he honor is a good thing, and usually it does lead to you know to good things. But it did get him killed. It did get him
yeah, he
beheaded.
did.
Yeah. That.
No, and I think it's just, the message isn't to be less honorable,
But
it's
to be
more
aware,
tactical.
to be
Yeah.
aware that your enemies won't be as honorable as you are, maybe.
Mm.
And yeah, I mean, what a twist, for the first season. Like, I remember when I was first starting the show, I had no idea what was gonna happen. I was so certain that Ned was safe. I'm like, this is the guy. I'm like, this is the
You're
only,
watching
like,
that
this is.
penultimate episode
Mm-hmm.
going, "They're gonna figure a way out of this. I don't know what it is,
Yeah.
but they're gonna figure it
Like,
out."
I had no
Um,
clue, and I'm like, "Yeah, he's the main guy." And then, like, until the sword hit his neck, I'm like, "Well, someone will stop it." Like, he's still not gonna die. Like,
yeah,
obviously, like,
yeah.
his neck is maybe made
Oh,
out
and
of
it's just
steel. His
egregious
Yeah, like,
egregious amounts of denial
yeah,
emanating off the viewer during
and
that. Yeah.
no, no, he
No, he's
actually
dead.
died, yeah, and, yeah, it was crazy. But then, yeah, arguably, he started the events of the rest of the show. You can say Littlefinger, sure, whatever, if you want to get like nitty gritty, but like
Mm.
Littlefinger used Ned, uh, to kind of start everything almost. I don't know, a lot
Yeah.
of other lot. It was just perfect play, perfect,
It's a lot of stuff.
a
It's
lot,
a lot of stuff.
yeah, but
But Ned coming in at 5 felt right,
mhm,
and, he's like, you said, only 1 season. There's a lot of characters who were in all the seasons who did not,
yeah,
come above Ned, so that's just how much we love Netty boy. I will give us our number 4.
mhm,
It's the man you're honoring today with that glass of wine there. He drinks and he knows things.
yes.
Tyrion Lannister.
The
Um,
Imp's Delight. I
the
looked it
Imp's
up.
Delight.
I looked it up.
Yes.
So, mhm.
Yes, yes, wonderful.
Ah.
Yeah, Tyrion Lannister, man. Now this is to come in at 4 as Tyrion Lannister
Mhm.
speaks volumes to the quality of character that we are to come to, because Tyrion is one of the most thoroughly well-written characters in the entirety of television, in that entire medium, and, when we say things like that, we're excluding a notable exception in an entire season of the show. But
Mm.
it's up to that point, one of the most exquisitely well-written characters ever.
Dude.
I think that, to have created or to have taken this character that is depicted, um, in the public eye, in the universe as a monster, as a monstrosity, as this terrible entity, as this horrible
Mhm.
person, and make him one of the most likable characters in this entire show. Really, really just and Peter Dinklage is in part to owe for that, but god damn, do I love me some Tyrion, man.
He's funny. He's smart. He's like he has a good moral compass on him. He does make some decisions that are, for his family that you could say aren't the most morally correct, whatever. But like, nah, that's mainly at the end. Um, but yeah, no, I don't know. I had some crazy theories of Tyrion too. That maybe he's sort of like Jon, and Tywin had some similar situation where he had to keep a secret of who Tyrion was for some reason, but it falls apart pretty quickly when you just start to think. I don't know, like,
Mm.
but similarities like Lyanna dies whenever Jon is born, and Jon is just a bastard thrown away and meant to be kept a secret. Tyrion's mother dies at birth, maybe to keep that secret, you know, locked down. So I don't know. I've gone down the rabbit hole with Tyrion. But what I can say for sure is the character we got, the Lannister,
Love him.
I think, I don't know. It doesn't matter really who he is, at the end
The
of the
only
day.
Lannister on this list.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. The only Lannister that I guess Cersei maybe has a chance. She's probably the closest, definitely. I mean, over Jaime, that's for
Oh, yeah, I
sure.
like Cersei a hell of a lot more
Um,
than I like Jaime. No,
yeah,
and
but
that's what's fascinating, like, it when it comes to favorites, I think that Cersei is one of the best characters in this show, you know? She's definitely not one of my favorite characters in this show, like, I don't love her, I don't root for her,
no.
I do find her fascinating. I think she's, again, extremely well written. I
Mhm.
think her conniving nature is wonderful, and I think that Tyrion overcoming all of his familial attributes and being a good guy is,
Mm,
something that he was not meant to do, and the fact that he does makes him all the more worthy of being one of my favorites in the entire show.
yeah. The true hero of Blackwater that'll never be written down in the history
Mm,
books, not even until he got Hand of the King with Bran Stark. Now he will be written. And we're remembering him here. So he's in recorded history as well.
mm.
Tyrion, don't you worry. You are the
Don't
most
you worry.
famous imp in the
When we
world.
publish Winter is Blooming across Westeros,
Mm.
they'll know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We gotta spread the word. He is by I mean, I don't I think there is a line. Maybe it is my favorite Tyrion line of all time. And it is, "No, Varys, the most famous imp in the world." Very meta line,
Mhm.
very true, actually in real life. Um,
Most famous dwarf in the world.
dwarf. Yes. He did
Yeah,
not. Oh, imp. I'm stuck on imp's delight, is what I think.
yeah, Imp Delight.
But
Uh,
no, dwarf in the world. Yeah, but man, love me some Tyrion, and yeah, was the one at the end that's like, hey, why don't we pick a king? And that was never done before. That's great.
yeah,
Just
legend.
to put that forth. So
Bro created oligarchy.
whoa, that crucial step. Um,
Mhm.
almost like a evolve, like I don't know, a human evolution,
Mm,
um, of sorts. But yeah,
true, true.
love love that man. I'll drink to you, Tyrion. To beat out Ned Stark, that's no easy feat.
That is,
But it
that is.
is
It's
it
it's an
is.
impressive achievement,
Mhm.
but, how about you go ahead and give us our number 3
Mm,
in the top
okay. And number three, this is where I said the tier kind of changes for me a little bit. Um, and and this is a Stark, and it is Arya Stark, the Night King killer. No one, well, no, not no one. She is Arya Stark.
5.
Um, trained to be no
He's
one.
going
Yeah, trained by Syrio Farrell, Jack and Hagar. Let's see, the Hound kind of.
mm,
Trained with Brienne for a little bit, even. Um, killer of Walder Frey. Kill. Oh, I got. Yeah, true that. I got the kill list here. Actually, we can just go down it. Random boy stabbed in the chest. With
That's the
needle.
first
Yep,
one.
first
RIP that
kill.
little guy.
She killed a pigeon for food.
Mhm.
Snapped its neck. That was all of season 1. Season 2, she created her list. She started saying the names. And the Mountain and Polliver were added to the list. She didn't kill them. But then the
Not
Tickler,
yet.
the Tickler by Jack and Hagar. What is the
The
Tickler?
Tickler was the guy who tortured people at at Harrenhal.
Hmm.
Uh,
Okay. So Arias giving the first name to Jaqen
mhm,
was the
mhm.
Tickler, and then Armory Lorch was the second name Arya gave
Emerald
Jaqen.
Lord Shields.
Amory, thank you. She thought about Tywin for a little bit, I guess, in episode 7.
No, she
Uh,
actually throws out the name Tywin, and he's like and Jaqen goes, "Yeah, I can't do that. That's the one I can't do. Sorry about
oh
that."
shit. Okay. Oh wow. And then on episode 8, I have Jack and Hagar, but crossed out. Oh, she does
She
name
names Jaqen
Jack and
Hagar.
Hagar. Yeah, there you go. And then But I guess for actual kills, let's see.
A girl gives a man his own name.
Man who sewed Rob's head. Yeah. She did kill that guy. The guy who so yeah, I'm the one who sewed the
I'm the one who did that shit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Thank you. Or it was like, oh, cool.
Shout out to you. You're gonna fucking die.
Polliver got it, and random asshole as well. Whoever that is, Roars.
Yeah, her and the Hound.
Yep.
This is where the heart is. I believe.
Okay,
Is
good
the
lesson. Roarge, and Mockingbird, whoever Roarge is, not coming to me.
that actually might be the "This is where the heart is" lesson, if I recall correctly.
Okay, people coming for the bounty for the Hound.
Yeah, because Polliver was in the chicken, the place where they're eating the chicken and they're giving Hound shit. They're like, "Oh shit, it's you.
Yep.
What's up, man?" And then they go in and she does the whole sticks the sword in his throat the way that he did to the other kid.
Okay.
So yes, Rorge is the "This is where the heart is." I believe he's actually a good dude. He's the guy who's laying there dying.
Oh, and like maybe nothing is better than this or whatever.
Yeah,
And like,
yeah.
okay, wow, okay, yeah.
I
Good
think.
guy.
I might be mistaken.
Maybe, but if it is that guy, good guy.
We're
Roarge.
remembering a lot of good stuff here. Yes, yeah.
Another pigeon.
Gotta have
in season 5, it looks like. Marin Trant. That's a good one. The eyeballs and the oh yeah, good kill there. Love that one. The Waif. Good kill.
Yes.
Lady Crane. Not Lady Crane? Why do I have Lady Crane and then not Lady Crane in the episode after? Was it someone appearing as Lady Crane?
She was
Lady
she was
Crane.
supposed to kill Lady Crane and decides to not kill Lady Crane.
Okay, maybe that's
but
it. Maybe
that's
that's
not
it.
after she kills the waif.
Yeah. Because the waif is.
The
Oh,
waif
maybe
kills
the
Lady Crane.
waif. Maybe the waif was the thing I had in there was just whenever she was on her kill list. Like she was like, now I will kill you. Now you will die. Not actually dead
Probably.
yet. Maybe.
Yes,
But I don't
Lady
have the waif
Crane
anywhere
dies
else.
at the hands of the waif.
Yeah. So, oh, and then okay, there is the waif episode 8. Yes. Okay. So then there is the waif's actual death. So, okay. And then Walder Frey, a big one. The rest of House Frey, minus the wife, the only one to make it out. Good on her. Hot Pie's Pie.
Dominates that shit.
Yeah.
Kills it.
Brienne of Tarth's reputation. Whenever she comes into
Sons her
Winterfell,
ass.
and yep.
Yeah.
Her storyline. Oof. In episodes. Yep. Littlefinger. Good one. Her virginity. Huge with Gendry. The Night King and the entire army of the dead. Gotta give her that one.
That's off to you.
Gendry's heart I put in there after he got turned down. Revenge after learning the lesson from the Hound. And that shit was the last addition we put in there because she killed that shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess long side road to say that she deserves, she's in the top 3 of characters.
Yeah. I mean, like she goes on one of the most fulfilling journeys of any character in the show, from the beginning where she is, she's not a lady, she refuses that title. She doesn't want to be a lady. And by the end of the show, after all the training she's undergone, she fulfills it by killing Death.
Yeah. What do we say to the god of death? Not the god of death, really.
Death.
What do we say to Death today? Yeah, she looked Death right in the face and hit one of the nice little whoop. Yeah, no, was clean. Man in the noise too, the sound design of that moment, the like ringing of the dagger, kind of like
and like splintering of the icy glass. Yeah, that was hard. That was hard. No, I love me some Arya, man, and the way she wants to protect her family, the way she wants to protect everything she loves and cares about, and when she realizes what's important there, it's beautiful. So love Arya Stark at 3. And we're on to our top 2 characters of the show, and these will come as no surprise. It's just order that may surprise some. And if you've been listening to the show, probably not. Our top two. At
Mhm.
2 is Daenerys Targaryen, the mother of dragons, the unburnt, queen of the seven kingdoms and protector of the realm up
Mhm.
until she's no longer the
She is
protector.
the destroyer of one of, I guess,
Ish.
a kingdom. Um,
Ish.
partially a kingdom. Yeah, Breaker of Chains, another one in there. Let's see what other. I feel like she
Misa.
had some other titles. The Unburnt, maybe.
I threw
Um,
that out.
yeah,
Stormborn.
Okay, yup. There you go. That's anything in Karth. Did she gain anything from Koth? Um,
I
I
don't
don't
know.
think so. But
I
anyway,
don't think so.
um, yeah, quite. She
Khaleesi.
big one. Yeah, there you go. Um,
Yeah, no, I love Daenerys, man, and it's a shame
it's
that they
just
couldn't have finished her story up in a more satisfying way. And I said that I've aired it out plenty. If you actually listen to the show about how I think the Fallen Angel arc works for her, but they didn't do it in a satisfying way.
mhm.
Um, she
Yeah.
loved the people she loved so fucking deeply uh, that whenever they're hurt or they betray her or she perceives them to be turning against her, she flips, and that man, it's Anakin Skywalker right there. So like it works. It's perfect. The idea is great. It's just that it's a fumble. It's a fumble there at the end. But
Mhm.
for several seasons, she's an inspiration. She's an absolute treasure of a character and
Everyone falls in love with her.
yeah.
Literally everyone, because how couldn't you? She why couldn't she just stay in Essos? She had a great thing
Oh,
going.
she was born.
At least if she was burning people, these were the right people to burn. Um,
Yeah, when
there
she
is
was killing
some.
slave masters and all that stuff. Like that's
Mhm.
basically the only people she massacred when she was over there were
Yeah.
people who owned
you know,
people.
I'm still never going
So
to advocate for such a thing. I will still say it like it is nice to not have to do that, but if she's going to,
if you're
in
gonna kill a
Essos,
motherfucker, they better own people.
in
Yeah.
Essos, it was good. We like Tyrion said, we cheered her on, and it kind of made sense to cheer her on there though. But then yeah, once she got to
She
Westeros,
only grew more comfortable in her rightness.
things just kind of changed when she got to Westeros. She needed to stay
Yeah.
over in Essos, and everything.
People loved her there, man. Then the people who didn't were the people who I mean, inevitably, there's probably I mean, it's just people who were attracted to the old ways, the way they used to do things, and
Hmm.
she represented a change. She represented an evolution in their people, and frankly, she
The change needed to
ultimately her
happen.
going to Westeros,
Like,
it's it's fascinating to think that her going to Westeros is born from it's not
mm,
presented like this at the time, but it's born from a place where she's planning on conquering the world.
yeah, yeah. It's
She's
because arguably the most change that needs to happen is in
is in
Essos.
Essos.
It's
Yeah.
not in Westeros. It's like Westeros, although a lot of change needs to happen, to get
Yes.
like to our present current standards, whatever. But as far as the world's concerned, Essos needs changing, and Danny was doing it.
Essos need to
She
go.
was she was doing it everywhere she went, and it was people were, I don't know, there was hope again, for the people in Essos. But yeah, a beautiful. I mean, it is a beautiful character. I think you know. I'm thinking of ways to possibly end her arc, as kind of the thought experiment we're having, for this and I maybe have thought where maybe she comes to Westeros and actually realizes that like this isn't her calling anymore. Like everything's off here. Everything's off. So she actually does return to West or Essos. But a lot of other things wouldn't happen
Mm. No, I
changes a
mean,
whole lot.
when it
But
comes to creating conflict and creating tension,
mhm,
there's only so much you can do to make a good TV show,
yeah.
not a ideal life for the
Yeah.
characters. I mean, an ideal life, Ned Stark doesn't go south, you know?
Damn.
Ned Stark stays in the North. He doesn't accept Hand of the King as something else happens, and like all that. So we could play that game all day long, and I think
Bran
that
doesn't climb that tower that
Blam,
day,
yeah, Bran doesn't climb the tower. Jaime doesn't fuck his sister.
That would
There's all
help.
sorts of
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
Lyanna, Robert doesn't love Lyanna. Lyanna and the Mad King isn't fucking mad. We could do this all day.
Mm.
Um,
Mhm.
so it goes back and back and back and back. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, in a perfect world, I like to think Dany could have ruled over Essos and been a beloved, good, just ruler.
They could have conquered the world. Jon leading
John
in
and the yep, yep,
Westeros.
yep,
But
yep, yep, yep.
I do like Jon north of the wall and actually not leading, him leading just the North people, the Starks leading
Mhm,
everywhere else.
yeah.
But man, it could have been a beautiful world. They were almost
I mean, yeah,
there.
Targaryens could have ruled the world.
Yeah. Yes,
Mm,
they could
mm.
have. And if my theory is to be believed, Tyrion may be a secret Targaryen, technically the true ruler of the capital right now. Anyway, I'll stop.
Yeah,
I'll stop.
yeah.
I'll stop.
No, but
No.
no, I love Dany, man, and she deserved better. Emilia Clarke deserved better. And I think that
Yeah.
that was such a lovable character for so long, such strength and presence that very few characters came even close to being as good as Daenerys. So there's only one, as we've stated here. So how about you give me the number one character in the show for us?
I mean, we know who it is. If you're visibly seeing me, uh, you know, it's Jon Snow. It's just he is that guy. Part of me wants to call him Aegon Targaryen, but then it feels wrong because I don't even feel like he likes to be. He hates that name. I feel like he.
No, yeah, I mean, like I think that the show you know, makes a point to make clear that he's not Aegon Targaryen. He
Mm,
rejects the name, he rejects the title, he rejects everything that comes with it. Um,
mm-hmm.
he's Jon Snow. That's my man, Jon Snow. Uh,
Now, Maester Aemon is kind of exactly in the same situation Jon's in.
mhm.
Jon grows old, he becomes Maester Aemon. He's going to be at the Night's Watch. Maybe he'll be Lord Commander, or who knows? Maybe he just stays north the whole time. It doesn't even fuck with the Night's Watch.
He'll
I'd
never
probably
go
pre-
south.
I'd probably prefer that. But
I mean, the Night's Watch is a sham now. They basically just hang out at the
oh,
fucking
I guess
wall.
they don't have a Night King they don't have a threat.
They don't have anything. The Wildlings are cool now. They don't fight the Wildlings anymore. The Army of the Dead's gone. It's basically just
Hmm.
a
Okay.
a banishment
Yeah.
point. They're
Yeah.
just like, go there.
I guess what I was trying to get at is it seems that that there is a loop and it's repeating, sort of thing. That
Mm.
there is someone who very much did deserve the throne that is now at the wall, who's leaving all their titles behind, whatever. It's Jon, it's a Targaryen, still Jon. Bran, uh, the Three-Eyed Raven is now down. I guess I don't know how that loop would all work because he'd have to go back
I
north
think that
somehow, but
I believe that the loop had existed and now it's been
it's
broken.
broke. Yes. Yeah.
It's been broken,
Ah.
and there are still characters who could have fulfilled those archetypes had it not been broken.
Hmm.
John could have gone on to that life. Bran could have stayed north of the wall and been the
Yeah.
Three-Eyed Raven.
I see.
Daenerys could have been the Mad Queen. Like these things they
Mm-hmm.
could have repeated themselves, but they didn't. They did everything
Man.
they could to stop that repetition.
And
And I mean, John.
his rise, man. Like
Oh, I love it. The fucking just he just keeps fucking climbing, man. He
to
just
to
keeps
think
fucking
of
climbing.
like his first moment. I guess like is it with the direwolves? I think it is. Like it's like, "Oh, well, here's the runt of the litter. It's for you,
That's your
John. Like
no,
that's
yeah.
yours, John." Like that's the first moment we have with him, and in the end of the show, it is you are the heir to the Iron Throne. You are that. We will follow you wherever you go. Like I don't. It doesn't matter, John. And yeah, it's. I mean, if And Kit, I mean, this goes to Kit Harington in real life too. But like, if there's ever been a man that I would drop everything, I mean, instantly. I don't think there's any hesitation in my mind. Yes, like,
Yeah,
yeah,
no, I love that man. I love him.
yes.
Uh, he's, he's wonderful. He's such a good dude. He takes everything Ned was and
Ooh.
learns nothing from it.
Yeah,
I
kind of falls for the same exact
falls for the same
thing.
stuff.
But the on the way there though, that's the thing, is that he did do some non-Ned things on the way there.
Mm,
Um, maybe, I don't know. I guess like storming north of the wall and just going to Mance Raider, being like, "Fuck it, you guys aren't gonna do shit. I'm going. I don't care if I
mm,
die. This is the right, it's the right thing, so it is still honorable of him to do so.
mm.
But technically, he is a member of the Night's Watch, and this is breaking his code to do,
Yeah.
whatever. So like technically, it's not the thing
He
to do.
abandons the Night's Watch after he dies.
That
Died.
that's a tech. No, no honor broken there. That's until my last,
I mean, he gets
whatever
the
the words
loophole in
are,
there for sure.
until my last breath or until my last days. Oh,
Mhm.
maybe it's last days. But in that lifetime, those were his last. He did die.
Yeah, he died. No,
Um,
I mean, I think it's fair. I think it's fair. Um,
but again, Ned might actually come back to life and be like, "Well, I'm still alive, so I have to stay in the Night's
God
Watch."
damn it. Yeah, yeah.
Ned would, dude. Ned
Ned's that
actually
guy. Ned's
would.
that kinda guy. John, fuck it. And, specific circumstances, Ned becomes Lord Commander of the Night's Watch and he gets mutinied. Who knows? That
Hmm.
does something to somebody. It's not like you're like, "Oh, I still love these guys,"
Yeah.
So it's definitely a complicated life, but John died. Bro died. He was literally dead. And he comes back to life and he takes the North back. He wins the Battle of the Bastards, takes the North out from under the oppression of Ramsay Bolton, and
Mm-hmm. Goes on a suicide mission north of the wall to capture one wildling, which, now
one
that I
White
think
Walker.
about it, or yeah, sorry to the wildlings. That was, at this point, you're very much past the White Walkers. That's for sure. But now that I think about it, if Dany was gonna fly her dragon, she didn't want to fly her dragon, but she did to go save them. Her, maybe just her, fly on a dragon, grab one, tie it. Drogon can literally grab it with his fucking foot and just carry, literally as easy as that. He could grab 5. He's like a claw machine.
Mhm.
Drogon could just go and just grab 15 in one of his feet and fly and drop them on Cersei's doorstep.
Could be, yeah.
Once dragons are in the game, they didn't know dragons were at risk yet. There was no ice spear, all the dragons were still alive,
Mhm.
and they didn't want to risk Dany. They didn't want to risk her leaving. But it's like, if you don't want to risk all of these other people anyways, fly in and use your dragon claw machine and
Hey, man. It is what it is. It is what it is. We get a pretty kick-ass episode out of it, and John's
it
made it clear that ever since he died, he's kind of on a mission to do so again.
this is
Um,
fair. I am looking for the perfect world scenario, not for the TV conflict scenario.
mhm. The
So,
easy the
mhm.
easy way is not the good TV way, but
Mm,
you could make the argument that the way they did it wasn't the good TV way either. So, um,
yeah, but man, that's, I don't know. It was, when we started this list, it was clear who was number one.
yeah.
It was clear. John was
Yeah, and
always
there's so
there.
many characters we left out here. We left out Cersei, we left out Jamie, we left out Sansa, Bran, tons of
Rob,
great Rob. Yes,
um,
Rob was the main character for 3 seasons. Yeah, Catelyn. I'd say Catelyn was a main character for every bit as long as
Theon.
Rob was.
Theon's
Theon
kind
might
of
be
in
the
that.
top. tier
Mhm.
supporting character.
Yeah, and
You know,
Samwell was
like she
kind of
kind of
that.
fits in the same Samwell tier
Mhm.
where it's like
Yeah.
y'all aren't really main characters, but you aren't really supporting characters either. Like
Mhm.
you have whole storylines dedicated to you,
Yeah.
you know? So maybe they do qualify as main characters. Um, but yeah, regardless, both fantastic characters. Love both
Mhm.
those guys. Eventually for Theon. Not for a while there for Theon.
Reek
Eventually just
for
feel
a
bad for
while there,
yeah,
not even
Reek's
Theon.
a sad point. But yeah, then
Yeah.
that makes our top 5 favorite characters from Game of Thrones: Jon Snow, Daenerys Targaryen, Arya Stark, Tyrion Lannister, and Ned Stark. And
Mhm.
that's a great collection there. Uh, let's get on to supporting character, where we each have our own little list of 5, and we'll kind of blitz this a little bit. The first category took 45 minutes. So, um,
Mhm.
let's go ahead and ride. What's your 5 here?
Okay, my 5. I believe our 5s were actually swapped at one point, but then this was kind of like a last minute trade. But I'm very okay with it.
Mhm.
And this is just every time she's on screen, goddamn, I don't know if it's just funny or just badass, both. But what a presence! And it's Olenna Tyrell, the queen of Highgarden. Really, she's actually
Mm.
pulling the string, a queen of the Seven Kingdoms for a little bit, honestly.
Right down
Um,
for a little
yeah, for a little bit there, she was
till
she
the
was
High Sparrow fucks shit up.
that's true. Yeah, High Sparrow really came in and fucked a lot of shit up. But Olenna, man, the only one who could kind of hold her own against Cersei, and
Mhm.
Tyrion
And
and Tywin, like against the big characters that usually
Varys,
would slam dunk on
Littlefinger.
everybody.
Yeah.
But it's rare that Olenna ever got dunked on her. So I'm trying to think of any
I don't
time
think she did.
Olenna got dunked on. Like,
Like, the one who matched her was Tywin. Tywin was the only other guy who could even hold his own
mhm,
against her. Varys kept getting sunned. Cersei didn't stand a fucking chance. Tyrion didn't even fucking try. He was like, "Nope, fuck it."
yeah,
So, like, it was really only Tywin who and basically all he can do is just go, "I could kill you," you know? Like, that was kinda what his bag was. He was
yeah,
like, "You guys could die. How about it?"
mhm,
Um,
yeah.
so, yeah, no, I love Olenna, though, and Diana Rigg was so fantastic at playing Olenna Tyrell. Absolute
Mhm.
legend.
This Game of Thrones universe, Bene Gesserit. She is the kind of even with the headpiece too a little bit.
Yeah.
Kind of looks like it, but the one who's pulling the strings, using the feelings, using Marjorie. You doing all these
Mhm.
things. She's
The
very
manipulation.
Bene Gesserit like. And I don't know. I
I'd
loved.
argue your 4 is pretty Bene Gesserit-like as well, but
Mhm.
my 5 comes with another O.
Mhm.
We got Oberyn Martell, played by Pedro
Man.
Pascal.
Yeah, seeing
Um,
those two names just next to each other, I don't have dyslexia, but, like, that just fucks my brain so hard. Like, I
yeah,
wanna
for
say
some
Olenna Martell and Oberyn Tyrell,
yeah.
like, so bad, but, um, anyway, sorry,
No, yeah, I love
Oberyn.
love me some Oberyn.
Mm.
He finished in the top 5 for the count of most favorite character nominations,
Yes.
and he was in 7 episodes or 8 episodes,
Mhm.
I believe
Yeah,
it might have only been 7. Um,
which
so, the dude
goddamn.
was memorable. He came in, he made a fucking statement. He was sexy, he just had fun, he was lovable, he had a good moral compass on his shoulders. Um, he was just a good dude, a loving guy who just had to twist the knife, and it didn't
Mm.
go his way.
Hubris got to him, what
Hubris indeed.
gave us quite the fight. That was quite the spectacle. But everything before that, though, man, he was, and I think we were also riding high off of, we had the Mandalorian, but then like The Last of Us, I think might have been coming out around the same time or like before we got in,
Yes,
to
The
his
Last of Us
season.
happened before we got to season
Yeah.
4.
So like we're
Um,
we're riding high on Pedro. Pedro Pascal is just that dude already. And then like we already knew he was that dude in Thrones, and we're like, "Oh fuck yeah." Now we get Oberyn. And yeah, I mean almost every episode the dude got a character nod. He just came in and dominated. Um, but yeah, man, I'm trying to. I know I had a line from him. Um, "'Tis a big and beautiful world. Most of us live and die in the same corner where we are born and never get to see any of it. I don't want to be most
Mm.
of us." Yeah, he was just, dude, man, the Rhaegar. If there's a Rhaegar living that's not Jon Snow, it's Oberyn Martell. This is the Renaissance. Fuck, did I do it? No, I said Martell. I thought I said No,
Mhm.
did I say
Yeah, you got it
Tyrell?
right. You got it.
Okay.
No, you said
See,
Martell.
that's
You
how
got it right.
that's how even my brain, not in spoken word, I still get it fucked. But Oberyn's the closest to like a Renaissance man they got. He's a poet. He's a he's got sex down. I'd say like him and Podrick. That's like, I wonder who's won. Does Podrick beat out Oberyn?
Those
I
are real eaters right there.
Like, Oberyn's got the experience, but Podrick's just got the natural raw talent,
He's
I
got
guess.
natural ability, man.
So
Uh,
what? I don't know.
who knows? What's more important? I don't know. I'm not sure, but all I know is they're top 2,
That's
they're
true.
top 2. And I loved Oberyn,
Mm,
man, and, I do love Pedro Pascal, and that played a part in it, to be sure, but I don't think it mattered who played this character. I
mm,
don't think a lot of people could have done as well as Oberyn as Pedro Pascal did as Oberyn. I wanna make that
mhm.
clear, but, the character is just so fucking laid bare, like, there's not a lot of gray area with Oberyn. You know who Oberyn is, he's very clear who he is, and
He's on his
goddamn is he
mission.
for
Yeah.
it. So I had to go Oberyn at 5.
Mhm.
What's your 4?
Hell yeah. Well, you did say kind of Bene Gesserit, more Bene Gesserit like, and you're right. Combine these two together, and you have the Bene Gesserit, Olenna and Melisandre, the Red Woman, is my number 4. And on previous watches, she wouldn't have even been on my radar really at all, other than like very attractive woman when like that's just, I liked her. I thought she was an interesting character
Gorgeous, yeah.
before, and she's gorgeous, obviously, but like this watch, the Lord of Light and the whole deity side of Thrones was just kind of crazy and like eye opening. How like kind of undeniable it is for the show, and I just never paid attention to it before. Um, and seeing her arc, like kind of going, like being very confident in her ways and doing what she does, and then kind of having that loss of faith, and then resurrecting
Mhm.
Jon Snow and being like, oh yeah, never mind. Like I kind of got it like that, but and then especially like the only character I think in season 8 that I can confidently say that I have zero gripes with like her arc. Like her just pulling up, knowing exactly what she needs to do, being in the rooms where she needs to be, and like even having that moment with Davos being like, "Oh, don't worry. Like I'll be dead by come tomorrow. Like you don't have to worry about it." Like
Come dawn.
I think,
Yeah.
even in season 8, I loved her. So, um
Well, and she's one of the people who gets to benefit from being in one episode of season 8. Um,
I guess maybe that's why.
she's
Uh,
only in season 8, episode 3,
she does
which,
just show up, boom, I'm here, I'm doing what I need to do, and
dies.
I'm dead. Damn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, I guess I haven't stepped back and looked at
Born,
her season
serves
8.
cunt, dies. That's Melisandre's life
Yeah.
right there.
200 years, I think, right? I think that's
Yeah,
what
something like that.
I
She's
remember
she's an
her.
old lady for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, I love Carice Van Houten as her too. She's very good, and she made such an impression for so long in the show. Uh, but yeah, I love me
Alright.
some Melisandre, the Red Woman. Very,
Yeah.
very important character. So a great little nod there for you there. Going with a different redhead for my 4. A little
Hell
more
yeah.
orange going on here. I'm going Tormund Giantsbane. I love me some Tormund, baby. He's such a
Mm.
I love the arc he goes on across from John, and this is the very definition of a supporting character. Like, bro,
Mhm.
he has his own arc, he has his own evolution, but it's always in service of John's story, to show how much John has influenced him and to show how much he is changing, and to start as a full-blown wildling, no love for the crows, no love for any of them, and to kind of evolve it. He serves that line to John when he's thinking about bending the knee to Daenerys, and he's like, "I
Mm,
can't do it. I'm not gonna." He's like, "Oh, you got spent too much time with the free folk." Uh, but he asks how many people died because Mance didn't want to bend the knee.
mhm. Yeah.
And just the way that he ends the show, I like to think that him and John are going off to be best buds, living
You
living
got the
forever together.
North, the real North in you. And I think maybe a little metaphorical and literal,
Yeah.
eventually,
Yeah, you got
he'll
the real North in you, me.
yeah. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
Tormund,
no,
that's what he's getting at, he's just getting John ready, he's, like, kinda priming him ready, but
they're
then
real intimate, man. I love me
that
some John and Tormund, and I
mhm.
love and again, just John earning Tormund's trust and the way that he's like, "I'll go to Hardhome with you," like, 'cause
Oh, yeah.
they're still not like, that's still in the process of proving
Mm.
himself to Tormund, is like, "We'll go up
Yeah.
there together," you
Yeah, I
know?
guess he put the arrow in Mance, and that was kind of like a good step in being like,
Yeah,
"Okay," like, good like, "Thank you," and talking to because I guess Tormund was just a prisoner there at Castle Black for, like, a while yeah, and,
yeah.
wow, but then
"Why should I trust you?" He's like and then he
mhm,
unbuckles his restraints, and he's like, "Oh, okay." Like,
mm,
I loved the evolution. I love
mm.
Tormund, because like, that's his man, That's the only guy he ever really rides with, He never fucked a bear. He didn't fuck a bear. I
Uh,
love it. I love me
Giant
some Tormund.
Spain, bear fucker. Yeah,
Yep.
he's
Love that he wants Brienne so bad, but just does not get that he'll never have her. Just not her cup of tea, Tormund.
mm-mm.
But yeah, so I got Tormund at 4.
Man, we're going on quite the streak of redheads here. We had Melisandre to Tormund. Not quite, I think it's sort of red, or maybe it's just a streak of red. But Jack and Hagar is
Got the
my
red streak, yes.
yeah, is my number 3. So we're going on quite the red streak here. But and who knows? Jack and Hagar is actually no I guess this is actually no one here.
Yeah,
Um
we don't even know who he
is
is.
this how many
They are.
how many no ones are there? We don't know. Is there only one? Can they be in multiple places at multiple times? Is there is Jockin the original no one? Is this we don't know. And that's why he's my number 3. Is that he is so mysterious and that he is just the little grin he gives Arya on like when she leaves. Is it just that he's proud of who she's become in the moment, or is it like perfect? You have completed your training.
Mhm.
Like this is what is supposed to happen.
This is what you were
Um,
meant to do.
yeah, if there is someone who's connected to the gods and like the deity, like we had Melisandre, pretty connected, but more of like an at more of like when it needs to be done sort of thing is Melisandre. Is like it's at moments of extreme chaos in which she comes in and fixes things. But Jaqen is kind of the slow burn, and it feels like he's way more connected. And I don't know, there's just so much mystery surrounding him. The whole Arya House of Black and White storyline I love. It's one of my favorites in the entire show. So Jaqen is just a huge part of that. And I don't know, him just popping up and being like 3 names, name me anyone, I got you. And I did forget about Tywin, I guess. So there was someone that he couldn't get, which is interesting. But no, I had to get Jaqen in here. Now that I'm thinking, I don't know, maybe I could have switched 3 and 4, but Melisandre and Jaqen are pretty interchangeable for me. They Melisandre just kind of got in here for that new lens of the rewatch that I had with the whole
Mhm.
Lord of Light and deity side. But Jaqen has always been kind of an interesting
He's
character to
dope.
me from
He's dope.
from the jump. I don't know, I've theories out the ass surrounding
Mm.
Jaqen. So
It's Jock and Sirio, etcetera. Um,
mhm.
Same guy? Question mark? Don't know. Maybe. Um,
We don't know. Melisandre throwing out that line, the Sirio line. Is Melisandre, Jock, and Hagar and Sirio Pharrell? Um,
Big
Now
thoughts.
we're getting somewhere, but now I'll
Big thoughts.
stop. Um,
I love Jock, and that's a good choice. That's a great choice. I love it. My 3, uh, limited to a couple seasons here. And again, a John supporting character, another redhead. Um, Ygritte. I'm going Ygritte here. Loved Ygritte. Rose Leslie was so fucking good at playing Ygritte. She was immediately one of the most likable characters that was presented in this show.
Mm.
Um, and again, just the way that she forces John to evolve, and the way that she evolves herself in that time, but can't let herself commit fully to this complete, like, she doesn't get to the point that Tormund gets to. She doesn't get the chance to. Her life's cut short by Ollie, my least favorite supporting
Fuck.
character.
Yeah.
Um,
We had a top 5 for worst characters. Ollie's in there. Fuck that guy.
Ollie's in there. Fuck Ollie.
Um, yeah, no,
But
but Egret,
no,
man.
man,
You
I
know
love
nothing.
Egret.
Man, yeah,
You
this
know nothing, Jon Snow.
so much chemistry that they got married, you know.
Yep,
That's it's gotta go. You gotta I don't
gotta
think
give
it's
it.
100% the show's doing, you know, not even close to a
No, of
majority of the
course.
show's doing. I'd say it's just the real life chemistry, obviously, that they just had. But this is where they met, right? They
This
wouldn't
is where
have
they met.
met otherwise. So
You gotta give it some. You gotta
yeah,
give it some credit. You
yeah,
know.
that's pretty
So no,
freaking cool.
and they perform their asses off across from each other. Absolutely, one of my favorite seasons of the show is the season where their relationship just
Mm.
flourishes. I believe that's season 4. Probably my favorite season of the show.
Man, just such happy moments with them. You know, it's like one of we like just the true good relationships in the show. Just their cave. John's. They're in the cave. He's doing the thing, and I don't know when it comes back up, but like, does Egret say something like, "Where'd you learn to do the thing with your tongue or whatever?"
Yeah,
And
yeah.
John just did what I thought was right, or whatever he says. Like they're I don't know, everything they say is just so cute and just in a show where you get beheadings and Battle of the Bastards, people just dying left and right, gore
Mhm.
and bad shit. At least we
Yeah,
have a good romance, and
season 3 with,
yeah.
Kissed by Fire and followed by The Climb. Couple of
Mm,
great episodes for them. Uh,
yeah.
Absolutely adore them. So, yeah, I loved Egret. Had to get her in here. She's my 3.
Okay. Well, we are on the redhead streak. Tormund, Melisandre, Egret, Jack, and Nagar. Maybe. We don't know if my next character is a redhead or not, and that is because we never see a hair on his body ever. And that is Varys. Varys is my number 2. And I think Varys is just a more of like the concept of the character for me. I love his outlook on like his he will always protect the realm. He pushes all of his selfish desires and everything away, and he always protects the realm. And he was right at the end of season 8. He's saying he's hoping he's not right, but he was willing to die for his beliefs and what he believed in. And man, yeah, this wish the other advisors would have taken Varys's sacrifice a little more with a little more substance, a little more
Yeah,
like, oh,
you know,
he did die for this.
he said what he
Okay.
said, he meant the shit, you
Yeah.
know?
So, but man, what just another one I love to theorize about the purpose that he's bald is he can't show his perfect blonde or white Targaryen hair. I love to think that
We
everyone's just
love
a
the
Targaryen.
Targaryen theories,
Yeah.
yeah.
But no, Varys doesn't need any of that. He is the true from the ground up. Man came from nothing. Honestly was dealt a pretty shitty hand from his childhood.
Yeah,
If his story is to be believed, and I'm gonna take it at face
pretty sure
value,
it is. Pretty sure it is.
he is the master of whispers, and lying is kind of his whole shit. So like, who
Red Woman
knows?
kinda confirms it, though.
But that's true.
Or,
Okay,
like,
that is
a Red
fair.
Woman. A
Mm-hmm.
Red Woman does.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. The actual like top dog, right? Like the Pope of like the Red
the
Women,
Red
like the Red
Priestess. I can't
Priestess.
remember, yeah,
Yeah.
the High Priestess or something like
Mm-hmm.
that.
So yeah. Um, so yeah, but Varys, I don't know, made his way all the way to the top. Could have been ruling the New World. Would have for sure been in that council if he made it out, if Daenerys
Oh,
or
yeah, they'd have an
Drogon
easy
didn't
Master
do
of
him.
Whisperers. That's one of
Yeah.
the positions
Oh
they're looking
man.
for.
I mean, there's
Um,
no replacement for him, and that's why. Bran strolls in. He's like, "Hey, notice this seat's vacant. Oh yeah, we did just lose the greatest Master of Whisperers that's ever existed." And yeah, crazy to think that he was the elder at the time.
yeah,
And
pretty much.
him and Davos are really the only elders, which is crazy to think
Insane.
about.
Insane.
But yeah,
Yeah,
Varys.
great character. Love Varys, and just such a good dude.
Hmm.
My two, I'm going another honorable some bitch, incredibly selfless,
Mm.
is always giving her sword to service those around her. I'm going Brienne of Tarth for a top 2 favorite
Mm.
supporting character. Uh, Absolutely love Gwendolyn Christie, one of the most talented women alive as far as acting prowess. I think that she doesn't get a chance to show off as much as I would have loved for her to show off, but when she does,
Mm.
god damn is she good, man. I love Brienne of Tarth, and I think that there are a few characters, she's in that tier. She's in that Jon, Ned, Varys. That's
Yeah.
those are her compatriots when it comes to how good she is, and
Hmm.
she's incredible. So I absolutely adored Brienne, and I think
Yeah.
that
Not Brienne, as
not
as
Brienne
as
as
some would
the
say.
audiobook the audiobook
Man,
narrator.
and
Uh,
D&D also have some crazy pronunciations of their characters. Like Melisandre, I remember was like I forgot. Oh my god, it was just so different. And then Missandei as well was like Miss. It's crazy how they. I don't know. Maybe. I forgot how they said it, but like I don't know. Brian was one that I always remembered, but I forgot it was the audiobook, not D&D. Okay.
Yeah, no, that was an
Um,
audiobook one. Brain.
mm,
There were a few others that I can't remember off the top of my head, but that's the most egregious one. Her name's Brienne.
yeah. I don't.
That's pretty fucking obvious. I don't know how on earth you could read it and go, "This name is Brian."
I guess maybe that's just
Um,
English. That's just technically you could like if you wanted to, you could make it sound like that because it's spelled that way. But
no, I mean, like, you obviously can. I get where he's coming from, but the name's Brienne.
yeah, I mean the word grape I can make sound like grape, but it's not
Now,
grape.
it'd be one thing if it was like Brienne. No,
Mm.
that's Brian. This is
Ah.
Brienne.
Yeah. Okay.
That makes it a soft
And
E. It does
yeah,
not
there's
make it
no
long.
shot.
Um,
It's a yeah. I see.
Brienne
Mm-hmm. Um.
pisses me off. Sorry.
Wow. The first
But yeah,
female
love her.
knight. Is this true? Is it
Yes, the first
the
woman knight,
first? Not
the
even an.
first dame. They do not call her a dame. They call her sir, which I
Mm-hmm.
think is funny.
Yeah.
Because quite literally what she is a dame. But I
I guess it's
appreciate
the
that,
first though. Maybe like
they
they're
haven't
like,
come up
well,
with that yet,
fuck, or
you know?
like, well, we don't have a word for that yet, so yeah, sir. You know.
Sir Brienne of Tarth.
Yeah. Gotta
Which,
go with what they got.
no gripes there.
Mm-hmm.
Just a
Could have.
funny little
Yeah, for the
detail.
first, they could have that like Tyrion was like, "Why don't we pick one? Why?" Like it's like, well,
Mhm.
Sir doesn't feel right. Why not? I don't know,
The
man.
Dame Brienne of
Yeah,
Tarth,
could
like,
have been
that's
a
kinda
perfect.
hard.
Yeah, could have
That's
been
kinda
perfect.
fucking hard. So I do enjoy Brienne a great deal. I think that her and Arya, their little kinship that they form briefly is really satisfying. Her and
Mm,
Sansa is obviously very satisfying, and probably the most satisfying, is her and Catelyn. Sorry to say that her and Jaime's story ends so terribly that their evolution couldn't be fully realized. But
mm-mm,
love Brienne. I adore her, so she had to
mm-hmm.
be top 2.
All right, and she'll come back around in duos
Mm.
eventually, whenever we get there. But on to number one, my number one dude, the biggest hype man. Tormund's a pretty good hype man, and I do love him for his hype man abilities. But there is one that hypes Jon up like no other, and that's Davos. Davos Seaworth. And not, you know what? I don't even want to say just because he's John's hype man, because he's only John's hype man late in the game. You know, he's with Stannis for a fucking long ass time, and goes on his own wild adventures, pirate adventures, smuggles Gendry, gets him safe and in King's Landing, and then gets him back
Mhm.
into the game.
Homies
We
with Salvador San.
That's what I was just gonna say. Yeah, he's just one of the coolest characters that we don't get enough of. For what they gave him the coolest name in the entire show. He's a pirate and friends with Dav. Like I wish we could have gotten a little more. That's okay. But no, Davos is he's just a ripe old. You don't get to a ripe old age like I do. I love his accent.
You don't get to a ripe old age like
Um,
I am.
yeah, and or
Nobody
like
listened to me. All
yeah,
I ever did was get to a ripe old age.
or what does he
Um,
say when it's like, "I'm sorry for what you're about to witness," or like
yeah.
whenever he pulls his sword, like
Gents,
yeah,
I've never been much of a fighter. Apologies for what you're about to see. I absolutely love him.
God, he's like why is he? He just
This
fits
was the
perfect.
trade.
Yeah, I
This
don't.
was the trade. Our top ones, it was like, well, one of us is gonna have one of them, the other is gonna have the other. Davos is absolutely, I won't lie,
Oh,
probably my favorite supporting character in the entire show. Like he's right there with my
mm.
one. I absolutely adore him. I think that Liam Cunningham plays him with such fucking clever, witty presence that it's unbelievable that Liam Cunningham isn't in more stuff. I want him in everything. I love Davos and I love Liam as
Mhm.
an actor. Um,
Oh,
and I think that he's actually in that movie Breakfast on Pluto that I told you about, the Cillian
yeah.
Murphy. He's
Uh-huh.
in that movie.
Man,
He's like
okay.
a biker in
Yeah.
that movie.
In
He's in
that
one
new
only
D&D
very
show,
brief, but
right? And that's maybe not
yes, he is
he's
in
in
the
there?
Three Body Problem, I believe.
Okay,
I'm
wow.
pretty sure he was also in that vampire, like Dracula on a boat movie. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh,
The
shit.
Last Voyage of the Dementor or whatever,
That's out?
that
That's
came out
not like
last year.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I thought that was coming out eventually. I didn't
No,
know it
yeah,
was out.
that was
Hmm.
long out. I believe he's in that too.
He loves
So
the boats. Yeah, he's a pirate at heart. He's just a
smuggler,
smuggler.
smuggler.
Yeah, if you're a famous smuggler, you're not doing it right. That's
Yeah, love
man.
Davos, man. So that's a fantastic top one. Jealous indeed. But I've got a great top one. My top one is and
Yeah.
I love them. I love them dearly. They are absolutely my top two. On any given day, it's hard to tell you who my favorite is between Davos and this guy. But I'm going Sandor Clegane, the Hound.
Mm,
I absolutely adore his evolution. Probably the most like one of the most clean cut, fulfilling arcs in the entire series. Going from the dog, the man who follows every whim of Joffrey and the king, and specifically Joffrey, um, being his bodyguard, not even on the king's guard, or not even a knight. He's not Sir
mhm.
Sandor. He is just Sandor Clegane. Um, and to watch him, fuck the king, go
Fuck
move
the
on past
king.
it,
God, man. He's
protect Arya, befriend her and grow with her, and then get nearly killed by Brienne and take after Brother Ray,
mm,
be in that group, grow even more, and then once they die, just devote himself to
mhm,
protecting the good in people and getting his vengeance against his brother. That's those are his priorities, protecting the living and
mhm.
killing them out. And I
And
think that it's
dude,
wonderful.
that's man. Like think looking back at his arc, it is like I
One of the most complete arcs in the entire show. Um,
it might be the like John is pretty fucking good,
I'm
and
like
and
I
and
love
like
Davos. I don't think he has nearly as clean cut and
of an
concise an
arc.
arc as Davos
No,
as
like
the Hound.
he learns lessons from Stannis, and like he has like his relationship with Shireen, and then gets pissed at Melisandre. He does go on things, but like never like it's still he knows who he is. Like Davos, he's yeah, I don't know. He's
The Hound's always on rough footing with
yeah,
himself. There's a lot
He's
of self-hatred.
he's like
There's a
actually
lot of
finding himself. Like he's
yeah.
actually like on a journey.
Mm. And it's
And
cool to think about how both of their stories interact so deeply with, deities that they do not observe,
yeah,
you know? Davos is not a devout man, he makes that clear, he does not believe in the Lord of Light, he doesn't believe in any of this shit. But he sees things that is like, there it's obviously there, it's obviously real, you can't
can't
deny it.
deny
The
that.
Hound goes through the exact same shit, you know? He goes through exactly the same, like, he doesn't believe in that shit, but he looks into the fire and he sees the message, and
Yep,
it's like, "Well, something's there," you
it's
know?
weird. It is strange. The apparently the more you study science just in general, you start out very, very anti-religion and you are certain of it. And then the further you go on, the more and more you slightly become more and more. You see it more, but it's not in the way that you think, and it's strange
Mhm.
that I don't know I'm seeing that a little bit. Like I'm still not fully there myself, but it's weird how
I'm not
I'm
freaked
like
out,
damn,
but
there's some things I can't really deny, you know, or
science
like,
can't
but
science can't explain everything, which
exactly,
is kind of
yeah,
like, that's the thing that should be able to explain
that's and like
everything.
the Hound had like he kind of gave up. He's like the world's shit anyways. It's a dog eat, it fend for yourself. It's free, all kind of shit. He was down in the dumps, very pessimistic view. And then now it's, there is a purpose for him. He does have to protect Arya at the end. When Beric is like, "Hey, what about her? If you're done, whatever, but like what about her? And what are you going to do?" And then he's like, "Well, shit." Instantly goes and uh and defends her. So yeah, the Hound. You said it was you didn't like having Davos not on there, but these are one and two. Like there's
Yeah, they're
really
the
no
top.
question there. They're one and two, for different reasons. And but the best, probably one of the best arcs in the entire show, does go to the Hound, which is crazy to look back and think, but very true. So
Yeah, so
think a fitting one.
let's run it back. What were your top 5 favorite sporting characters?
Ahead at 5, Olenna Tyrell. 4, Melisandre. 3, Jaqen Hagar. 2, Varys. And 1, Davos Seaworth.
Beautiful, and I had at 5, um, sorry about that, Oberyn Martell; at 4, Tormund Giantsbane; at 3, Ygritte; at 2, Brienne of Tarth; and at 1, Sandor Clegane. Let's move on to the top 5 performances, where once more we have an overlapping category,
Mm-hmm.
and this was pretty easy. I'm pretty sure this pretty closely follows our mathematic results of the numbers, as far as what we ended up, giving everybody, in throughout the
Mm-hmm.
course of the show. Um,
I think there's only one switch, actually. I
yes,
think.
I believe there is too.
So,
But at 5, we'll take it in with Sophie Turner
hmm,
as Sansa Stark. Brilliant performer, and the way that she evolves as a performer with her character and grows as an actress as her character does
yeah.
is fucking astounding. Like, the casting department could not have gotten luckier
Like the
with some
age and
they
like
made.
just her
Yes, yes.
growing, like
Um,
in real
I
life,
mean,
it was
like,
perfect.
I think
Um,
she's the best example of it, but, I mean, Macy
Macy
Williams,
Williams. Yeah.
unbelievable that she ends up being as good an actress as she does. Isaac Hempstead Wright obviously
Mm-hmm.
gets shoehorned into a role where he doesn't have to perform as much, but he's still good at it,
Yeah.
like, so, like, the way that they casted these kids as young children and then getting to see them grow
Mm-hmm.
into very good actors, I think Sophie Turner defines that for this show better than anybody, and goddamn was she good.
Yeah, I mean that another arc that is very, very satisfying to see,
Mhm.
her go on, very complete, and you get that coming of age because she is like that is her character at the beginning. She is that innocent child who has lived in Winterfell her whole life, who is just not seen the real world. Who women at the time, that's I don't know, that's just kind of what they did in castles. They didn't really know anything, but then going on with she just isn't with the right crowd a lot of the time. It's
Mm.
not good, but whenever she starts becoming confident in herself, and not to say that her performance is bad before, like it is still good, her being the frightened child and the scared and anxious performance she has to put on, but I love when she becomes Sansa Stark and she is like,
Mm.
you know, confident in her ways and everything. That's when I really really love her performance. But yeah, it's very fitting for 5. That's for sure. She deserved to be up here and yeah, I guess the next closest one's out. Michelle Fairley, Macy Williams, Sean Bean are like
The
the
Starks.
next 3. So yeah, we have all the Starks right outside. So that's very very fitting.
Yeah, no, I loved Michelle Fairley, and she was one of those ones that was like, if we'd done 2 separate lists, would have crept into this,
Mm,
for sure. But
mm-hmm.
when it comes to just 5, there's just 5 just brilliant fucking performances. This was one that didn't even feel difficult for us.
Yeah,
We listed them, and that was it.
yeah,
So Sophie Turner, one of the no-brainers for us. Like, it was like, yeah, Sophie Turner's the 5th one.
yeah. I think
She is
this one
one of
just
these
kind
5.
of the numbers actually make sense. Like us just
Yeah.
having the straight up performance nods for every episode in the show
Mm.
just actually does give us a very good insight. And number 4, maybe if you ask me straight up, it might come as a surprise that he's number 4, but then I look at everyone who's above him and it makes sense.
He's
But
not quite as good a
number
performer.
4 is Kit Harington, our boy,
Yeah.
our top character, but our number 4 in performance.
Mhm.
And it's yeah, someone just has to be 4. It's not like he's bad because he's near the bottom of the list,
No, no, yeah.
whatsoever. But yeah, it is just crazy to see. Like it's crazy that John Lowe is a 4. He's in the top 4, and that still
Well, and
is like a
that's what's crazy about the character and the performance that Kit puts on is that I think that everybody else on this list, I feel like, does big emotions better. They just get a chance to do big emotions more. Even Sophie Turner, who we have below
mm,
him. Uh, there are very few at playing subtlety
mm-hmm.
quite as good as Kit Harington does.
Yeah.
There's a lot of moments in this in season 8. He does not get a lot to work with as a character or as a performer, but what he manages to do with that stuff is brilliant. Like a couple of my favorite scenes in season 8 of his are, obviously learning his true heritage, the way that we just linger on him and show him reacting to the information. And then when Daenerys comes into his room in season 8 episode 4 and is like like, let's do this thing, we got this, and him like turning away and being like physically recoiled by it, and
Mm-hmm.
like he's very good at that sort of stuff. So I
That
think
little
there's
grin at the
very few
very
dudes.
end, man. That
Yeah.
it felt like he. That was the biggest smile the North has ever seen. I swear to God, if when I'm remembering back on that smile, and it's just the
Mhm.
slightest little, just you barely
Slightest
even
little
see
grin.
it, barely even see it. But yeah, it's all I don't know, all in Kit, and I love how
It's
he
even and that's what's fascinating is that, like, I don't even know that he does smile. It's an air that he's affecting. And to be able to do that with your face without smiling is fucking insane. Like, how are you capable of doing that? How are you able to just kind of move your face a little bit to the point where I can tell you are more happy than you've been in a very long time, but you're not grinning ear to ear? Like, that's I don't know how that's possible. I don't know how you do that. So I just
uh
I take my hand off to you,
mhm.
to quote Mike
He's at
Tyson.
home. He is at
Mhm,
home, and that yeah, I don't know. In that one little grin, there's no more that I need, you know?
mm-mm,
There's that's
mm-mm.
it. Like I actually don't want the spin-off. I would like it, but like I'm good. John is just
Yeah, that's
living his
always the
life,
tough thing with
you
the
know?
sequel series idea is like, "Oh, so there's gonna be another conflict?"
Exactly.
I don't
Yeah.
want that. I
No.
don't want that.
The North is
Um,
fine now. Him and Tormund are it's actually
everything's cool.
they're fine. The North is good.
Like, I think a wildling factions trying to take over thing could be
Mhm.
fun, like a war against the Thenns or something. That could be
They
cool.
still
Uh,
exist. I guess I forgot. Uh, right? Like at large? Like
yeah,
up
I
in the
mean, like,
north
there's
somewhere? Like there's a camp of them somewhere? Is that a thing? Or were they
probably
all
it's stuff that
marching with
there
them?
could be.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
like, I think that's part of the like,
My grand
when it comes to a sequel series, they would have to introduce elements that we wouldn't be able to
that we
trace back to
yeah.
the first
It has to
series.
be something
Um,
new completely.
yeah.
But I don't know.
So,
I
that's why I'm like,
rather
I think that's, there's a lot of good opportunity, but they're not gonna play with it. I don't think they're ever gonna play
yeah,
with it, but,
just
yeah, Kit Harington, man.
let me headcanon it all,
Mhm.
Kid is up there. He's in his post-show heaven, in his honeymoon. He's been through the shit.
Mhm.
Let him have his like afterlife, Like
Yep.
let him actually die. Let the character actually die.
No,
But yeah,
and
our boy
he's
Kid.
brilliant, man. I loved Kit Harington in the show. He was so damn good, and, another guy who pretty much every single performer on this show, just when it came to season 8, deserved better. Like, everybody is shortchanged. Everybody is shortchanged, and that is terrible. I don't know how you manage that. And one of the ones who is the most shortchanged of all of these people managed to succeed despite the odds in season 8. They're given this material, they're given this stuff to work with, and they're like, how do I elevate this at all? And I think that Sophie Turner and Kit Harington did a very good job. And a guy who probably did the second best with having to elevate material in season 8
Mhm.
is Peter Dinklage as Tyrion Lannister at hour 3.
Yeah.
Um,
Talk about a let's give you the worst of the worst writing. Like maybe it's meant for him to fail a lot, But I mean, he fails at everything. Come
he
like
fails
season
to a point where it's out of character,
yeah. Like it's
you know?
and at the end they spin it as like we will learn from our fail, but they don't even go there. It's like no, just the memories and whatever. It's more what you wanted. So it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, they don't actually go there, which is crazy. But yeah, before then though, undeniably, he's got the humor, he's got the wit, he's got you know
I'd
Peter.
say that if we are picking a single episode for the greatest performance in Thrones, it belongs to Peter Dinklage. I think it's his trial episode is the best anyone ever performs in
I
this entire
wish
show.
I could be the
Um,
monster you think I am, or whatever
yeah,
oh my god, yeah, that trial is it's honestly like that's the thing with Peter Dinklage is like a lot of his lines. There's a lot of like actors obviously pull through like their real experiences when they're performing, but I feel like there's moments in the show that they give him that are like therapy moments, like almost like it's like, hey, just let go, man. Like I don't know, like this is. I don't know. You're on a stand. You're on your pedestal right now. You're kind of like go on your soapbox, go off, man. And I don't think Peter Dinklage is a monster in real life, and he would poison the well of all of us, and all this
right.
stuff. But I don't know. I thought like,
You're drawing from real emotions to create emotions
yeah,
for it. Yeah.
man, like he does such a great job making me just feel everything that he is feeling.
Mhm.
And he's like again, like as far as the comedy goes in the show, there's a lot of Thrones comedy that's not like strictly comedic in the stereotypical sense, but Tyrion is that kind of all the time. Like he is the consistent comedic tone from the show, but definitely knows when to get serious whenever it's needed as well. There's never like a it's never harsh him going back and forth between like comedy and in serious mode. It's always you always know what you're getting with Peter Dinklage, and I think that's why he got that bump above Kit is that like every time he's on screen, it's
Mm.
crystal clear what is going through Tyrion's head.
No, yeah.
Like
I think it was crystal clear who our top 5 was, but I think it was even more crystal clear who our top 3 was. Like, our
yeah,
top 3
ooh
are our top 3, and Peter
yeah,
Dinklage, he's in that tier, man. Like, he's a cut above, uh,
mm-hmm.
everyone else except for a couple people, and that'll bring us to our 2, who I mentioned Peter Dinklage being the second best at elevating the material in season 8.
Yeah,
Uh, the absolute best at elevating the material in season 8 is Emilia Clarke as Daenerys Targaryen. Um,
yeah. Saying that Tyrion got a shit hand dealt to him. Oh boy, did Amelia Clark get a shit a lot of things dealt to her. Yeah, and you're right. There, without a doubt, made the most of what she had. Um, but even before that too, it is I'm doing a lot of that. I'm doing a lot of before seasons 8 and a little bit of 7. Um, Man, she's speaking another language a lot of the times,
Mm.
and it's
A fake
never,
language.
yeah, never, yeah, not even a real
A couple of
language.
them.
Yeah, that's true.
'Cause she
Dothraki
speaks Valyrian
Valyrian.
and Dothraki.
Oh my god, yeah. So it's like, what the fuck? And it's kind of like I noticed it in Dune as well, where it's like when the performance is that good in another language, you kind of hear it in your own language. I remember hearing "Long live the fighters" straight up. Like I thought Timothy said "Long live the fighters." It's not at all in English, and like I feel like I remember some Daenerys lines, um, where like I could have sworn it was in English, but no, it's completely in Dothraki or Valyrian. Dracarys is very Dracarys, that's pretty clear. But
Mhm.
but I swear some of her, just whenever she's addressing everybody or giving a big monologue, um, I could have sworn she's just
Melds,
speaking
man.
English. Yeah. And it's another facial, like her facial acting is incredible. Like just how she can cry so well. I don't like
Mm.
her sadness or anger or the face twitch she does whenever she's like about to go, when the bells are ringing. Like that, man.
She has top 2 eyebrows in all of movies and cinema and television.
Ooh. Who's
The way
number
she can Colin Farrell is the other one, by the way, not in the show. Great eyebrows. Um, and I mean just the way they are able to express themselves with their eyebrows. You can literally look up Colin Farrell and Emilia Clarke, and this will be a subject. People will talk about this.
I've
Uh,
seen the memes of Emilia Clarke. I've not been into Colin Farrell yet. I've never seen him, but now I just looked up Colin Farrell eyebrows, and yeah, no, I'm seeing it now.
they do
He
that thing where their eyebrows tilt all the way up. I don't
Yeah.
even know how that's possible. Do that thing. I
How
It's
the
incredible.
hell?
I have no idea.
That's some Jim
It's
Carrey
very
level
impressive.
of
Yeah,
facial,
face
like,
contortion. Yeah,
wow.
no, but there are so many moments where I mean, like, her eyes obviously do a lot of expressing. There's a line in the personal history of David Copperfield where young Davy says, he has 2 eyebrows, and I mention his eyebrows because they're much more important to his face.
Yeah.
There are moments where her eyes and her eyebrows are
Uh,
working together to create such a fucking heavy emotion that, like, it's whenever she's talking to Kit Harington in her final scene, she's doing this she's doing this
mm,
squint thing the whole
yes.
time.
Uh-huh.
She's contorting her face to where, like, she seems so meaningful. She seems so genuine that I don't know how you achieve that through just your face, and, she's utterly brilliant, man. I absolutely adored Emilia
Mm.
Clarke, and I don't think there is literally only one other actress in the show who I think is worthy of being put on the same pedestal as her, and we did. She's our number 1.
Yeah.
Which
One
take the
more
honor.
nod. One more nod than Amelia Clark. Amelia Clark got 19. Lena Headey got 20. Yeah, this one I think was the clear one. We were like, well, we have the numbers. She is number 1, but I think we knew this already too. We were like, yeah, no, this just when it comes to acting prowess and just being on screen and just dominating every time. Yeah, like playing the character. I would like to say that a lot of it was like written in and like this is purposeful, but like I wonder how much of it was Lena Headey just like I wonder how much of it wasn't direction and just her
No, yeah.
knowing the character at a certain point. Um
Well, and there's so much that she's able to do. I mentioned Kit Harington being really good at subtlety. Um, she's the other one that really fucks that up because she's brilliant with big emotions. Whenever she feels deeply, but what she's so good at is masking those emotions while letting those emotions brim to the surface, and settling under a sheen of deception where she is masking those emotions for something else, but you can tell what the emotion is that she's feeling.
Every
And
layer of the game. Every layer of the game you get through her. Yeah, like it is crazy that like there is so much story going on that like the actors have to like they have to know all of those interconnect like who they're talking to at the time and like what I don't know how that'll affect their character's future, or whatever. It doesn't matter to them at the time. It's just the job they're doing, but like that it's always crazy to put myself in an actor's shoes and be like, "Okay, I have to turn on Cersei Lannister for work and then go back home and have dinner with my family and go to bed and act like a normal human." But
yeah,
she does it flawlessly. I mean,
she's fucking brilliant, man.
there's
She's so goddamn good.
there's in there like the other performers, like there are episodes in which they're not bad, but it's just kind of like, okay, for the standard we know in which you can reach, this wasn't your strongest episode, but like I don't know if there's really one time Lena Headey was not like at just the top of her game. Like I don't know, her scenes always are very powerful. I don't know, and she
Yeah,
is the
she's
queen
the best. She's the
for
best, man.
for some of it, so but
I mean,
man,
she's the queen for the last 2 seasons.
mhm. Damn. And then
She's not the
arguably
queen for the first 6.
arguably before those as well, she's the one pulling all the strings for Joffrey and Tommen is, so like she's been the and whenever even Robert's on the throne in season
I'd say she
1.
was better at pulling strings when Robert was king. Like, her whole thing with Joffrey was that she was incapable
That's
of
true.
pulling strings.
Yeah,
Um,
that's when she started going. Yeah, that's why she started
and
going
she
crazy.
tries to overcome it, but
Mhm.
then Tommen becomes king, and she can't pull the strings there because Marjorie. So, there becomes, like, this, like,
Mhm.
helpless thing, and I think that she does just so fucking good at it. I love Lena Headey, and she rounded out to be our top 1 performer in
Mhm.
all of Game of Thrones. So, with that, our top 5 performances were Sophie Turner at 5, Kit Harington at 4, Peter Dinklage at 3, Emilia Clarke at 2, and Lena Headey at 1. Now, let's dig into some duos. These are character duos. Your favorite relationship dynamics in the entirety of the show. Uh,
Mhm.
let's go ahead and bring it on in.
Yeah.
You go ahead and kick us off with number
And
5 here.
these are a little more fun, I not so much thought was really thrown into like, oh, this it has to be over, this I have to include this person sort of thing. This was, I don't know, sort of just my general. These are my favorites, sort of thing. And number 5 for me was Brienne and Podrick. Just I think an underrated, a slept on duo in the show that like Podrick's arc that he goes on of like teaching Brienne to be a little more chill and like, hey, like life isn't so neat and by the book everything, and take a chance to take some compliments and look at what you've done, Brienne, and then also Brienne teaching Podrick how to fight and everything like that, and I don't know, just the adventures they go on. Whenever they're trying to protect Sansa or trying to find Sansa, and it's like, hey, light the candle, and they're just waiting out there for Sansa to light the candle. Brienne's just being her honorable self, and Podrick's just the guy that has to tag along. But I don't know. Podrick is also a good guy in his own right. So I love both the characters, and you got Brienne up in supporting characters. So I felt like it was a nice way for me to get Podrick and Brienne in here in
Yeah, fuck
in
yeah.
uh in duos. So yeah, I got the God Rod Pod
Mm.
up in here. Had to get him in. But
Yeah, I kinda took advantage of the fact that, you took Davos, in the supporting character, so I had to get him
mhm.
in duo. So, for my 5, I have Davos Seaworth and Shireen Baratheon. Just one of the more sad and moving
Oh,
relationships in the entire show. When he loses his son and he gains a daughter, essentially, cares more for her than Stannis himself does, um,
learns to read,
or any
you know,
learns to read from
like a
her,
little bit
yeah,
from her, and like the little the
from her.
little the little wooden stag, that he
Mhm,
gives her, and then that's
mhm.
how he finds it, and he's like, "Yo, what the fuck is this?" And then it's like, "Oh fuck," and Oh, yeah, it is very tragic. But
No, I love
while
it. I love their
yeah.
relationship. I think that their dynamic is, adorable. I think that to have so much, like, paternal chemistry as, like, they felt like father and daughter, and I think
Mm,
that they did such a fantastic job at that. So I had to give
uh-huh.
them a little love here. They were my
Yeah.
5.
Nigget, is that right? Like Knight. Knight
Yeah,
has a G in it? Yeah, how does Knight have a G in it or whatever? But okay. That's a cute. That's very nice. But at 4, went a little off the wall here, maybe out of left field a little bit, but not really. This is Dany, Daenerys, and Drogon.
Mm,
Definitely her favorite child. That's for sure. You're not supposed to pick favorites, but this one's pretty clear. Um, this is the favorite, the one that eats the most, I guess, the biggest one, the one that's not put in the cage, the one that's just kind of like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go off, do my own thing. But we always had that kind of inside joke of they have this brain connection, or they
mm,
have like a prep talk, before they have a moment where it's like, okay, Drogon, this is where you come in. After I say this, then you're gonna look all menacing and scary, and then you're gonna come in. It'll be perfect. It'll hit way more dramatically. But it's just that kind of blood bond they got, you know.
mm.
And it's sad to see Drogon have to be the weapon of mass destruction at the end there. But I did love the moment of him burning down the Iron Throne. That was very
Very
nice. One of a nice little uh on this watch, a lot nicer on this watch than I remembered. So I don't know. I had to get Drogon in here somewhere, so I figured why not? The duo, it did end up being quite the dangerous one at the end. But before then, when he was just a little cute little boy, he was,
mm,
thinking back to when he was just a little baby. But
mm.
yeah,
Yeah,
not
no,
no
it's a great
longer that
show.
baby anymore.
Sad ending whenever and a little bit of that baby, though, whenever he, like, shoves his mom, he's,
And
like,
like,
trying to wake her up,
hello,
and
wake up.
yeah,
Why are you
yeah.
not moving?
When he hugs her, whenever Jorah dies and stuff, that's very sweet. They got a couple good moments there.
Yeah, yeah.
I love me some Dany and Drogon, but Imma stick with you in the Targaryen side of things, as my 4 is Grey Worm and Missandei, a relationship that ends up being a bit dangerous in its own right,
Mm-hmm.
um, as it leads Grey Worm down a quite murderous path. Um, it's
Yeah.
I but prior to that, however I feel about the ending of Grey Worm's arc, I don't love it. But I think that throughout the whole show, the connection they form and the romance they develop is extremely important to me.
Mm-hmm.
I love romance, and 3 of my top 4 here are romances, and then my other 2 are like faux
Ah,
father-daughter relationships.
yeah,
So like
totally.
I have certain tropes that I really appreciate,
Uh-huh.
and these middle 3 are all romances, and I absolutely adore Grey Worm and Missandei's relationship. One of my
Mm.
top 3 favorite ships in the entire show. I think that their connection, their chemistry from Natalie Emanuel and Jacob Anderson
Mm.
is fucking palpable.
Yeah, from the very early, them bathing in the stream or whatever, and them looking at each other and being like, "Oh, well, and them getting to actually getting to action, and Danny being like, "How does that work?" She's like, "Oh, no,
It does.
it does. I know it works." But yeah, just another good one. Another the ending, yeah, but a very good, happy relationship to see.
Yes,
Like,
yes. I loved
yeah.
them for a long time. So Grey Worm and Missandei are my 4.
Okay. Well, this one, man, this quite the duo, the hype man and king himself. This is I got John and Davos. Just I don't know. I think this is more for Davos than it is for John. Just how much Davos hypes up John whenever he can. And even like my favorite moment really is whenever Davos is hyping him up in front of Daenerys. Because Missandei did hype the fuck out of Daenerys right then,
Mhm.
give her all of her titles, and Davos was like, "Well, all right, here I go." And then he's going a little
This is
far.
Sean.
Yeah,
He's
he's
king of the north.
yeah, and But then later on, he's like he took a knife in the heart for his people. And John's like, hey man, like let's slow it down, okay? I don't know. I love their dynamic, and they're both just very wise and actual, like just very good leaders, in the show. And I don't know.
Davos is the reason John's alive.
That's true. It was like, hey, Red Woman, you got to get your shit together. You really like.
And that's him just betting on it.
Yeah, he's like, hey, you've done some shit before. I saw you birth a shadow monster that killed Stannis Baratheon. You got to be able to do something, right? Bring back the best guy that's ever lived.
Well, he doesn't even fucking know him at that point. Barely knows him.
Oh, John.
He's just
You
like,
mean like,
yeah,
he's like,
he's like, he seems like a good guy. I think he could do good. I feel like this is one of those guys we should bring back to life.
wow. Oh my God, Davos, that
They've
dude
been with him
holds it.
for
Yeah, and
close
holds
to a
it
full
down.
season. Yeah, they've been with
Holds
him
it
for close
down.
to a full season at that point, but
Mm.
so they'd gotten to
I
know
guess,
him.
well,
But
Stannis is gone. He has no clear leader. And it's like, well, if I'm going to pick someone, fuck, he's dead. I'd really wish he'd be alive. This guy sounds really cool. Of what I've heard about him, and yeah, I'm gonna protect his dead body. And if he was gonna die doing it too, and it
yep,
wasn't gonna be pretty.
gentlemen, I've never been much of a fighter. Apologies for what you're about to see.
He's
I love him.
so
Love
good.
him.
Oh, Davos. But yeah, that's
That's
my
pretty.
three,
That
John
is
and
good.
Davos. But
Bet. I'm gonna stick with you in the north here. Going with another one of my favorite romances in the entire show. This is where I'm going. Samwell Tarly and Gilly.
mm,
Love Sam and Gilly, man. Their relationship. It's one of those ones is never in question.
mm-hmm.
There's kind of a comfort to be taken in having a character like Sam, where there are a lot of characters where you're like, no way they kill that guy.
Mm.
Sam is like, there is no fucking way
No,
they kill that guy.
yeah, no shot. Like Ned was denial, no shot they kill him. But Sam is just actually like, you kill him
That's
and
a low blow. You
yeah,
can't fucking kill Sam.
yeah.
Especially once he has this relationship with Gilly, once he's become the surrogate father for little Sam. Once all that's happened, it's kind of like he's off the table. And the fact that he survives everything just kind of proves that. It's just
Mm,
kind of like there's no fucking way he should have survived all of this. And the
mm-mm,
fact that he does is due to the fact that he has this love for these people. And I think that,
mm.
him and Gilly, I love the way that their relationship, sparks up at Craster's Keep, and he helps her escape, and he kills a White Walker defending her and all this stuff. Like
The
it's
first to kill
the
a White
first.
Walker at
Yes,
that.
yes.
And
Also kills Then
yup.
at the battle at the wall.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
does.
he does a lot of
He
great
cures
he does a lot of great stuff.
freaking Grayscale. He cures
Mhm.
Jorah's, yeah, first to do that in quite some time.
Without Gilly,
Um,
we never learn that Jon is the natural son of Aegon and of
yeah.
Rhaegar and Liam, you know?
Mm-hmm. This is
They were
true.
they were meant to be there together. They were meant to,
It's
so it's just one.
12,572 shits.
Yeah.
Steps, actually, Sam. Not
Yeah.
shits. It was steps. Yeah, I don't know. They're, I don't know. A nice from where Gilly was at the start. She's living quite the better life. Even though it still kind of
Yeah.
shunned. Can't be in the Citadel, but is in the Citadel or isn't.
Yeah.
We don't
Like,
really
fuck it.
know.
Up there.
Hell, we don't got to think about that. It's just good. That's
Yeah.
why it just works because Sam and Gilly are just. It's okay. We want
Exactly.
that. So
So,
yeah.
had to have them. They're my 3.
Okay. Well, my number 2. He was my number 2 in supporting characters. So I don't know. Maybe that's saying something, but I have Varys and Littlefinger here. Sort of for the yin yang, just two titans going at it. Couldn't kind of in the same game, but very very opposite thinking. One chaos is a ladder, and the other is very I'll protect the realm, and if I have to die because of it, okay. Littlefinger is not going to die for the realm. He will kill the realm for him. I'd say. he would probably be King of the Ashes if that's what it meant.
Mhm.
There's, we Daenerys was going to do that. If there's a guy that would, Joffrey, Littlefinger, the Mad King,
Ramsey, a lot of dudes.
Euron. Ollie.
Ollie, yeah.
Fuck that kid. But
He'd
anyway,
be king of the ashes, bro.
yeah.
No, but
Varys and
it's a
Littlefinger,
great
though,
duo.
more of an early season duo here. That's in the later seasons they're not really together a whole lot. But man, when they're in King's Landing and they have just their kind of back and forth, it's very passive aggressive. It's not like obvious, but it's obvious to them. Because it's just that's their whole game. And I don't know, I loved that in the early seasons, and they both get some pretty tragic deaths. But yeah, I don't know. I
And one of them
loved
gets a
their
very triumphant death, I would argue.
yeah. I don't want him to die. I don't want Varys to die. I want Littlefinger to die. I didn't want him to die in that way. Well,
Really?
by Arya, yes, but not in the way the story had to go.
Yeah,
But
the story's shit, but the way that it culminates, his death is good. I like
yeah,
his
yeah, yeah.
death.
Oh, Arya going. I just love
Yeah,
that, and Sansa being the one to
simplicity.
sentence him. Love it.
Mhm.
But just how it happened was meh. Um, but yeah, and then Varys, another just like it's just like I know it makes sense for Dany to kill him because it's just that's her whole thing right now, but like really,
And he was trying to poison her. Makes sense.
I mean, yeah, and he was sending out many,
No, yeah, he was committing treason. He was
yeah,
right, but he was committing treason.
yeah,
But was he right because he was committing treason? Like, because he committed treason, did this push her further down that path? Her closest
yeah.
advisors are, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, that duo and the way they tried to make things happen, the key difference being Littlefinger doing his best to get to the throne and Varys doing his best to get the right person on the throne.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yes.
I loved it. I loved that dichotomy between them. So that's a good 2. That is. Um, my 2, I'm going with my favorite relationship in the entire series, my top 1 romance, and that is Jon and Ygritte. Nobody comes close for me. It's just them, man. Their romance and the way that it sparks and evolves and is short-lived, like we're talking a couple seasons here. They might meet in season 2, I believe, when they go north of the wall, and that's kind of when that happens for Jon. But for it to
Hmm.
carry out through really form in season 3 and hit its stride in season 3 and fall apart in season 4, uh, it's moving. It's a magnificent chemistry between Kit Harington and Rose Leslie, and the way that they both inform each other and change each other, and uh, but ultimately it's the right person, wrong time trope, and I'm a
Uh,
sucker for that trope, man. I
no,
love that trope. Um,
no. And Ollie, had to be the one. It was it would for without
Ollie
Ollie.
kills both of them.
Damn, that is true.
Yeah,
Maybe Ollie's just the wrong person, wrong time.
yeah.
Like maybe without Ollie, they actually work, and like then John doesn't get involved. Maybe he stays north. And just fucks off. Like everything else just doesn't matter. They stay in that cave forever. You know.
Should have
Um.
stayed in that cave forever.
Fuck, man.
You didn't fuck a bear. You never fucked a bear. I love Egret, man. I love Egret. And I
Uh.
loved them together. I think that she broadened John's horizons in a way he never would have had his horizons broadened otherwise. And he opens her mind in a way that, at a different time in a different place might have been more effective. But she's a wildling, man. If she was still there at the end of
Mhm.
season 8, we could have gotten the perfect ending. But then, is John who he is? Like there's all sorts of stuff. Um,
Oh man, I didn't even think. I guess he just burnt. Like there wasn't like a grave, for her necessarily. He did burn her at like a weirwood or
Yeah, at a
whatever they're
pyre
called.
and
But like if he
yeah, you
visited,
got
like
right.
that's the final shot, like him visiting
That would have
that
been
for the
cool.
last
I think, it could have undermined the relationship
mm,
he'd formed with Danny, you know, to visit Egret's resting place. Um, so it's just complicated, like, you need to move on, you need to grow, you need to, you know,
mm, yeah,
there's a lot there,
true,
but,
true, true.
yeah, I think
Mm.
that, more than anything, I love John and Egret is always my favorite John ship, and John and Danny's not even my favorite Danny ship, so, like,
Mhm.
there's all relationships I would have had for them besides each other, um,
Yeah.
but yeah, top 2 there, John and Egret.
All right, my number 1. I think I did slot it in pretty quickly. It's just one of my favorite storylines in all of Thrones. This felt like the perfect place to get it in, and that's Arya and Jaqen H'ghar
Mm,
and Syrio Forel, if I can go there.
right.
Possibly. And who knows who else? We don't know. Could be everyone, literally. Ned
Nobody knows.
Stark could literally be no one. But no, I'll stick with Arya and Jaqen here. The House of Black and White, just I don't know, her having to throw all of her possessions away, just all the whole storyline of her getting started and Jaqen just being this mysterious dude, not giving her too much, but giving her enough to keep her in and keep her interested, and just the training he gives her and everything and the lessons that she does learn over in Essos and Bravos is just so cool. I love Bravos. Bravos is just one of my favorite locations in all of
Mm,
Thrones. Just I love that they have this assassin religion. I don't know what to call it. Just if you give this guy a coin and you name, I don't know what the how you name someone or what you have to do to get someone to die, but it's just a guarantee. It's just 100% it will happen. This person will die. Yeah, I love that that's just a thing, and it's only in Bravos, but they can kill anywhere in the world, though, really. It's just their headquarters is in Bravos for whatever reason. Um,
mm.
but yeah, I just, um, guess yeah, no. I was gonna throw the waif in there, but definitely we see them at the same time. So definitely cannot be, but they can all access each. I don't want to get. I'm not going there, but at least I don't know. That is why I am a theorizer. It is what I like to do, and so that's why it is my number 1 duo. In the
Ah,
show is it.
they're a good duo,
Yeah,
man. That it's a weird kinship and respect that they form, but the one they do form is very moving. And I for my top one, I also had to go with an Arya
mm,
connection there. My favorite Arya relationship is the one she forms with the Hound. Arya Stark and the Hound is my top one duo of the entire show. Um,
I think
I
that's
have no
this
doubt
was the
about
one I had to be okay letting go with. I
it.
think
Yeah,
we were like, okay, Arya and the Hound is 1. Who's gonna get it? Like there is not
yeah,
even a 2 to compare.
yeah.
The
No, yeah.
it's
You were gracious enough to let me have it, which
mhm.
I was very very appreciative of. Because I absolutely adore it, man. I love Arya, I love the Hound, and their kinship and the way that it evolves and that respect that maintains throughout the whole time. One of my favorite Arya and the Hound moments is actually a moment when Arya's not even there, and it's when the Hound asks Brienne about her and is like,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
"What's is she okay? What's she up to?" And you know, who's protecting her? And Brienne says, "You know, the only person who needs protecting is the one in her way." And
He gives
the
it.
Hound goes, "It's not gonna be me." You know,
Uh,
like I love that
Oh,
shit, man.
it's
I
so out of
absolutely
character for
love
him to
it.
say that, but the reason is
Yeah,
because
it's
he
being
says it so
vulnerable.
it's like
Yeah,
instinct. It's like it just comes like it comes out of him. He just says it
yeah.
because it like
Well,
it is
and
his
that
feelings.
speaks to
But
the
oh,
respect he's grown for Brienne. You know, they had the same motivations. They both wanted what was best,
the only one to
and
best him, that
mhm,
his
mhm,
language before was fighting, and Brienne beat him in every single one, every
yep.
way possible. So yeah, it was a wake up call for him, Yeah, that was a
Yeah,
cute
and
moment.
then obviously the culmination of both their arcs there in that final conversation in the Red Keep is
Yeah.
the perfect ending to both of their stories to
Oh.
set her on a new path, let her know that vengeance isn't the way, she shouldn't end
Mhm.
up like him. He's too deep now, it's over, he's gonna do it, but she shouldn't have to follow him down that road, and, she turns around and calls him Sandor for the first time, not Hound or anything like that, and it's just,
God
dude, I
damn
love it,
it.
I love it,
Yeah,
I love
god
them.
dang it.
They're my top one. They're the top one, so, let's go ahead and run through that one more time. What were your top
Mhm.
5 duos?
Got 5, Brienne and Podrick. 4, Daenerys and Drogon. 3, Jon and Davos. 2, Varys and Littlefinger. And 1, Arya and Jaqen H'ghar. Maybe Syrio Forel um, as well.
Alright. Mine is, at 5, Davos and Shireen. At 4, Grey Worm and Missandei. 3, Sam and Gilly. 2, Jon and Ygritte. And 1, Arya and the Hound. Let's get into the final category, our top 5 favorite episodes of the entire show, and this is another one where we have, uh, 2 separate lists. So,
Mhm.
if you begin, what is your 5th favorite episode?
Right. A lot of these happen to be the penultimates, usually, which I
Mm,
think makes sense. And I am starting off with one, and it is season 2, episode 9, Blackwater. I think, there is the penultimate to come first is much more of a shock, but this I felt like was like the first holy shit kind of like like grand spectacle
mhm.
of the show. I'm trying to think if there was like in one fell swoop, big battle, big huge thing other than I think
This
yeah,
was the first one,
I think it
for
was.
sure.
Yeah, and
Uh,
man, I mean and it was also kind of like a surprise, it was like, "Oh, it was unexpected, that it could light the water on fire as well, like it wasn't like a clear like, oh, obviously they're going to just light the entire fleet on fire with wildfire. I don't know. I thought in the whole episode surprised me. I remember it was all at King's Landing, and that's all the episode was. But I remember being actually quite surprised by it and like liking the whole episode and
yeah.
it working. So yeah, it's as far as the moments go, that is why it is number 5, like kind of down there, is that it is just kind of the spectacle of it all, and it was the first of the kind. But they definitely get better at that. They do spectacles and grand things, and then make it a very just good episode of television on top of
Mm,
that too, later on. But this one does that, but not quite to the standard as my other ones.
yeah.
But yeah.
No, I love that, I love that. It's a good
Blackwater.
a great fucking episode, a classic, The Siege of King's Landing. Fucking wonderful. I absolutely adore it. Um, but
Mhm.
yeah, my 5 is, I've actually only got 1 penultimate episode, and it's a bit up the track here. I tended to hover around the middle of a season as
Hmm.
far as I can tell here. This is season 3, episode 6, The Climb at my 5. Um Just it's the one where Ygritte, Jon, Tormund, and other wildlings climb the wall. Um,
Mhm.
First time and only time we ever really spend any time watching people do that. Um,
Yeah.
it's a great moment for Ygritte and Jon when they reach the top and they look out over the kingdoms and or not over the kingdom, but the north, and then turn to the greenery of the other side. Aside Ygritte, I don't know if she'd ever climbed the wall. I can't remember if that was a thing,
I
but
don't think
if
so.
not, it's the first time she's
Yeah.
seeing green.
Mhm.
Um, and
How
that's
good that
just
would feel. How tired
mm,
you'd be at the top, and you just be like, "Ugh," like, you're so tired, but then just to see that, you'd be like, "Holy
having that
fuck."
Rey in The
Yeah.
Force Awakens moment, "I never knew there was so much green in the whole galaxy, and it's just one planet," so, like,
Oh, yeah. No,
it's
that was
yeah, dude, I and to parallel that and edit it along with the "Chaos is a ladder" monologue, um,
Oh.
that is what's happening at the same time, is
Oh,
Littlefinger
wow.
talking to Varys in the throne room about the climb, getting up the ladder. Chaos is a
Chaos
ladder.
is a
Um,
ladder. Man, Aidan
yes.
Gillen, man, what
Yeah,
a
good,
voice he
very
puts
good.
on for Littlefinger.
Um,
God, it's so good. But
But yeah,
Yeah.
it's just it's really that moment that
Mm,
makes it so memorable. It's one that sticks with me so hard. It's beautiful to look at. It's beautifully written. It's beautifully edited. Wonderfully performed.
mm,
And that's just it's kind of everything I loved about the show. It mixed spectacle with the conversation, the important men and conversations
mhm.
in a room. Like it had both of those things. They shoved it into one scene. They edited it beautifully, performed it wonderfully. I loved it. So season 3,
Yeah.
episode 6, The Climb for me at 5.
Okay. On 4, I had a different episode in here at first, from the same season, um, and it was The Mountain and the Viper at first. For like kind of the moment, the fight was very memorable, but then I'm like, wait a minute, Oberyn Martell dies. I don't like that. There's another moment in this season of someone who dies in which it's way better. In fact, maybe one of the best deaths in the entire show, and that's episode 2 of season 4, The Lion and the Rose, the Purple Wedding, as some will call it. Whenever Joffrey finally, we get to say goodbye to Joffrey, and we hear his last breath. Um, one it's that step up from Blackwater for me. It was a moment, like we are killing the current king, but the whole episode was the suspense building the whole time. Like it's something we were building to something the whole time. We obviously know what's coming on rewatch, but even I remember us saying like, man, like it was kind of nuts, like just I'm on the edge of my seat even the whole time, knowing that he's gonna die and everything. But I think was that next level up of having kind of a big event that's gonna happen and a huge thing that's gonna affect the entire show, but then also just make it a really good episode on top of that. So that's why I went with The Lion and the Rose
A
for
good one,
4.
man. A great
Mm-hmm.
one. Lena Headey gets to perform her ass off in that one, so gotta love that. My 4 is actually the first bit of Thrones I ever had the pleasure of seeing.
Mm.
Um, my father was watching it, and I went up to his room to talk to him about something, and I just kinda sat at the foot of the bed and was like, "Whoa."
Mm-hmm.
Mine's season 5, episode
Yeah.
8, Hardhome. The Battle of Hardhome was the first thing from Game of Thrones I ever had the pleasure of seeing, and it was kind of the thing that made me go, "Oh, I'm gonna watch this show, huh?"
I need that. Yeah, whatever that
Yeah,
is, I need more of it.
and I didn't know what episode it was, I didn't know when it was gonna happen, and I didn't watch it for, like, a year after I saw this, so, like, I'd even kind of forgotten about it,
Mm.
and then when it popped up on my first watch, I was like, "Oh, yeah," I was like, "Oh, fuck, that's so cool." Uh, yeah, no, Hard Home, it will always have a very special place in my heart for being the first little bit of Thrones I ever
Mhm.
got to see. Epic moment for Jon Snow. Remember my dad explaining to me like, "Yeah, that's Jon Snow," like
That's
he's the shit.
you're gonna
Uh,
love that
you're
guy.
gonna like that guy. But yeah, no, and it's just such a great, massive moment for the show. Great character beats for both Jon and Tormund. Um, and one of those moments that just makes me go, "You know what? Fuck yes, Jon." When he goes, "Night's Watch with me," and they march in the opposite way everyone is running from, like, dude, I fucking love it. I fucking love it. So, Hard Home,
Mm.
extremely special, absolutely massive moment. Uh, I absolutely
Is
love it.
it wrong of me to hope that in my lifetime I am a part of a with me? I don't want to
Yeah,
be because that means that I am about to go into
hitting the fan.
battle. But
Yeah.
I don't know. God damn, that would feel incredible. Um,
Mhm.
Talk about a moment that I definitely don't want to be a part of ever. And hate to even think of is my next episode. And it's another wedding, and it's the red one. This is the Rains of Castamere. We're saying goodbye to some
Season
very
3,
very
episode
loved ones, a mother, a father, a going to be new mother, and baby, and a lot of the Stark army. His Rob's wolf.
mhm.
Um,
Grey Wind.
yeah, just a lot of sad. But oh my God, I remember when watching for the first time at how I've never experienced anything like this in any TV movie, anything before. I was like, no. Ned was one thing, you know. That Ned was fucked. But then to do this was just kind of like, okay, now I know what show I'm watching. Anything can happen at any point. There's nothing that is off the table. They don't give a fuck because Ned was the main character, but Rob, I mean, they were just playing him up. Rob was the guy. Rob was like kind of the early John and the early Danny, and just, oh my God, you loved Rob, and then just
King of the North.
nope, one swift strategic morale in question, maybe. Tywin doesn't give a fuck, and Walder Frey definitely doesn't give a fuck. They won
No, I mean, this
there.
is definitely morally inept. Very
Yeah.
terrible thing that happens here. I'll never forget when I showed the show to Emily. Um, there were a couple moments, and this is one of them that I didn't prepare her for. Okay, so you need to know this. I prepared her for there's something that happens in season 3 that you really, really need to steel yourself up to. You need to be ready for your heart to be ripped out of your chest. It's going to be bad, and
Mm-hmm.
this was one where it ended, and we had the silence that you just sit in for a second, where you're just like
Yeah, you're kind
yeah,
of like looking around the room at like, wait, is life even real right now? You're like, what do I do next? How do I
God,
continue on?
there is nothing that is as special as watching Game of Thrones for the first time.
Yeah,
Absolutely nothing you could
yeah,
watch for the
I do.
first time
I
that is
did
as
have
good as Game of
a
Thrones.
memory pop up on Snapchat a little bit ago of I recorded one of my friends watching the Red Wedding for the first time, and just a mouth open. It was just a gasp, and then just they were frozen for the entirety of the time. It's hilarious. Just yeah, and that song.
For not a soul to hear.
You,
Yeah, bro.
if you hear
Oh,
that song, just hope your last name is Lannister.
yeah.
That's
Lannisters and the Freys
I guess.
send
Yeah.
their regards.
Maybe unless you're Arya, getting to play it for one last time for the Frey family. Did she play it for the Freys? Whenever
I can't remember. I don't think she did. I think
maybe
I was
not.
silent.
Maybe it was like just the action, not actually played
Mm.
in the room, but I think maybe D&D, like the show, the episode, might have been playing Reigns of Castamere
Oh, maybe I can't remember. I
whenever
can't remember.
his house
But,
was going bye
yeah,
bye. But
Reigns of Castamere, man, that's a good fucking episode. That's a good fucking
hmm
episode. Um, but yeah, my 3, I'm going classic with it, and so classic, it's the very first episode of the show,
yeah,
season 1, episode 1, Winter is Coming. I had to get it in here somewhere. It's one of those episodes where you watch it, it ends, and you go, "Oh, no, I'm in.
hmm
Oh, no, I'm in. This is fucking good." It's ballsy, it takes huge swings. It changed the game,
yeah.
there's television before it, there's television after it, you
Damn.
know?
I guess
Um,
I've been harping on like Ned being like the first death to be like, holy shit, this show's really like they can do anything they want.
Bran being pushed out of
They
the towers, the first thing you go,
they might have
"Oh,
killed a kid. You don't even know if he's alive. Like he
yeah,
could have been dead. Episode 2. To learn that he's paralyzed or like in a coma, whatever, is kind of like, oh, okay, like phew. Like, oh, he didn't
mhm,
die. So like, yeah, they're off the gate. They don't give a fuck. Um, yeah, I guess I didn't really think about that, but man, just the introductions. It is crazy to look back on this episode and picture Macy Williams and Sophie Turner's face, as they're greeting, Arya not being there at first and having to run and get there
mhm."
before everyone
When
arrives,
Robert
and
Baratheon's still in the shit, and,
yeah, and that
the
early
Hound's
look at
still rolling with
Cersei as
Joffrey, and
well.
yeah,
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's man, a lot of those early showings. Yeah, it's crazy to look back and just think of all their faces and how
the
different.
first feast. is fucking
Mm.
awesome. You know,
Mhm.
the one that they have in their I mean, the room that
Man.
we come back to all the time, uh,
Yeah, it used to
throughout
be
the
so much
show.
full of so much more full of life and everything.
Colorful
The
and
conflicts we had to worry about was a dire wolf that bit somebody or I guess a butcher's boy. It's
yeah,
like let's deal with that and not killing King's Landing, and
yeah.
burning it down and everything. So,
Yep, so, yeah, season 1, episode 1, that's my 3.
simpler times. Yeah, simpler
Mhm.
times. Well, I guess not so
Who
much
you gonna
simpler
kill in
times.
King?
Yeah, let's go to Killing King's Landing, or at least part of it. The second worst act of killing in King's Landing, the Winds of Winter. When Cersei decides, you know what, I have had enough.
Yeah,
And
season 6 finale, baby.
I think this is an opportunity in which all of my enemies can go away in one fell swoop. And, you know, if we have to lose a pretty cool building with, some of my family that's buried there, I guess, and, whatever, that's okay. A very, very small price to pay, but man, the opening of this episode, the piano, like the song Winds of Winter as well.
Mm.
Oh my God. I think probably the best opening in the entire show.
Oh, yeah.
Without a doubt. Maybe one of the best just overall put together scenes. Just like it's long. I guess that's like 10 minutes maybe that like it's going on for, but like if you can count that a scene, man, I don't know. I just not a word was spoken really. Like I don't like for a long ass time.
Yeah,
Um
no, that's the sequence that, it's just it's shelling. You know that music bu- 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 bum, 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 you keep building, and it is so fucking good, dude.
when it reaches
Uh,
the full orchestra too
yeah.
and like it just goes, "Oh my God." Yeah, no,
Yeah, like,
it's
it really
incredible.
is just that and, The Long Night for me. That whenever I think of the best
Okay.
the best music compositions, bum, 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 ba-dum, like, it just fucking guts
There
me,
you
so,
go.
it's those 2 for me. I absolutely love those musical compositions, but, yeah, no, the Winds of Winter, that's a fucking episode right there, man.
Mhm. Yeah. And number
That's when
2.
Jon is revealed to be Lyanna's son. That's when,
The
he's
big yes, the
he gets
face
named King
different.
in the North. Like, it's a big fucking episode, and it comes
Shit.
straight off the coattails of my number 2, The Battle of the Bastards, season 6, episode 9. So we get the Battle of the Bastards, and then we get that episode, and it's just the best ending to a season you could ever ask for. Um,
Yeah. Holy shit.
it's
The
unbelievable, dude. I love the Battle of the Bastards. It's fascinating because it's on paper not as big a spectacle as other things. It's just so fucking gritty. It's so real. There's so many people. There's so much going on. It's so fucked. Um,
God, the
it's
shield moment, he's just blocking
oh
every arrow from
yeah.
Ramsay and then just beating the fuck out of that
He,
guy. Oh
yeah.
my God, how
He
satisfying is
faces
that?
down an entire army. He's like, I'm gonna die here. This is it. Pulls out the sword. God damn, is it good. Um, we had to say goodbye to Rickon, RIP.
We already
Um,
did before
yeah,
we basically already did. He wasn't in the show. Um, yeah.
Sansa being the saving grace, Jon nearly getting trampled to death. It's just
Hmm.
a brutal episode of television that ends just so satisfyingly,
Yep.
with
Sansa
Sansa
getting
getting
to
to feed
ah
Ramsay to the hounds. Yes,
and to see
yes.
it. And
Oh, yeah.
she got enough, that's the thing. You would think you'd want to see every second of it, but even she was like, "You know what? I've got enough." She's like, it's I've seen what
Well, and
I've
she
seen. I
also
needed
she,
to see
like
it,
they
but
start eating, she's like, "Mm," she turns away and she goes, "You know what?
wait a
No, not
minute.
yet.
Wait a minute.
Yeah,
I need
I
to
gotta
see
get a little
this.
bit more in."
I need to see this. Okay, no, that is actually pretty fucking terrible. Okay, no,
Okay, this is good. I'm good though. This is
yeah,
great. She turns away, smiles, walks away.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I love it. It's a great Sansa episode. It's a great John
Mm,
episode. It's a great
yeah,
North episode.
you
And
put Sansa fucking Stark for your character for that
yes,
episode,
dude,
so
she's the fucking
yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
She's the reason everything goes good in that episode.
Kit does
And
not win that.
I
John
fucking
does
love her.
not win that battle. It is
I've
Sansa.
got I didn't realize I'm 5 for 5 as far as episodes where my moment, the thing that I'm referencing is North. It's the North. I love the North. So, uh,
The North.
this this was top 2 for sure.
Well, say goodbye to the North, for my top 1. I've been referencing it, quite a few times in the show. The death that kinda shocks everybody, shocked the world, and, probably one of the best just episodes that they've made, and it came out of season 1. That's Baylor. It's crazy that like the best episodes that they have made is either like it's either at the very beginning of the show or like the very end of the show. And
Mhm.
there are some bangers 100% in the middle there, but overall like Baylor was just it looked so much better for some like the vision like they cranked it up to a 12 for this episode and just that final moment like the build up to that and then the sound kind of cutting out and having like Arya seeing the doves flying and just the
Yeah,
sheer just
terror.
emotion that Sansa's going through, Joffrey like laughing in the background, is Varys, trying to like scramble to fix like you see everybody like do like it's just what a fucking moment. Like holy shit, the sword's being drawn, it's ice, you're like what the fuck? Like is it ice? Do they use ice to cut his head off?
Yeah, yeah.
Fuck. Damn it. I was hoping I was wrong, and that it was just some no-name sword.
Nope.
Maybe I'd
Nice.
rather it be ice, actually, I don't know. I'd rather it not happen.
Yeah.
It shouldn't have happened, fuck.
Yeah, he
But
does everything he was supposed to get sent to the wall also.
and
He
Joffrey
confesses.
just
He's ready to
decides
accept his sentence. He's like, "You know what? Fuck it. Yep. I was treasonous. I wanted to be king. It is what it is. Send me to the wall." And Joffrey's like, "You know what? Never mind. Kill his ass." Um, even Cersei didn't want that.
yeah,
Even Cersei was like, "Joffrey, wait a second." That's Cersei we're talking about, you know? It's one of the best, if not the best episode of the show.
mm,
This is the other one when I show you the reason I prepped her so hard for the red wedding, as in like, okay, something is happening at the end of is because I lied to her so fucking hard about something happening at the end of season one. I I went there's net oh, he's great. He's good for like the whole show.
oh,
You know?
you kinda
He's
have
so
to
fucking
though, but, like, yeah, like, you kinda have
no, I love
to,
Ned.
but
Ned and like and sh 'cause sh and this was
yeah.
one where he was inconsolable for, like, 15 minutes. I'm talking, like, we laid there and she fucking cried for a while, okay? Like, that's what this show does, though, you know? Like, I remember doing the same thing the first time I watched, just being like, "No."
Like
Having to start the next one, seeing the blood drip from the sword, the severed head, and then pausing it and being like, "Fuck," you know, like
yeah, like, his head it can go back on, right? Like, they're like, even after he died, you're still like, they're gonna, like, flash back or, like, that was just in Joffrey's head or, like, right? Like, this didn't happen.
because
Uh,
they do the clean sweep of the sword at the end of episode 9, and then they cut to the Arya looking up at the doves, and then the episode ends. So you're just kinda like, "Wait,
you hear a
no."
noise, though, right? Like,
Oh, you hear the
there's a yeah, there's a
yeah.
so, like, that's the thing that really gets you to go, that's I didn't hear. That was the sound of the sword missing and
Yeah.
just going through the
Someone
air.
stabbed the headsman right as he was swinging the sword on Ned,
Someone jumped
right?
in between Ned and the
Yeah,
sword to
yeah,
sacrifice
yeah.
themselves,
Yeah, so
actually. Yeah.
exactly. The denial, the levels you go through with that episode, it's
Ah,
unbelievable, but yeah, that is I would say the best episode of this show. Baylor is unbelievable. And while my top 1 is my favorite episode of the show, and cinematically, it may be the best, like, it's unbelievable. My top
uh,
1 is The Long Night, season 8, episode 3. Uh, it's just this is spectacle personified as far as this show is concerned. I don't think there's anything that comes close to matching it as far as grandiosity. Um, it's unbelievable. An achievement in direction for television that I think is I don't know how you could possibly match it, in terms of scope and scale and
mhm.
importance for any given TV show. Like, it's just that big of a moment. Um,
Seems that's what they were
yeah,
building to. You know, this is
yeah.
this is actually what they wanted to be, like, remembered for, sort of thing. Like, this is the big event we'll build
This is the
to, and
moment they were confident in.
we'll
They were
give
like, "You
you
know what?
this.
This is the good shit."
Yeah, we'll give you this. We don't really know what to do afterwards, though.
And I have my
We'll
gripes, and you can
Yeah.
hear them on the episode we did on season 8, episode
Mhm.
3, but I fucking love it, man.
There's barely any. Yeah.
This is my favorite episode of Game of Thrones. I if there's any episode of Game of Thrones that I will watch casually, it's this one. That
Jon
I'm like, I
stares
feel like
down a dead dragon and screams at it.
ready to
Arya
die.
kills the Night King.
Mhm.
Melisandre's just fucking on her shit. We don't like she's not like just comes in out of you're right. She's not even in the season before and or in the season at all until now and just she's here doing her thing. Danny, on a drag like there's dragons. There's the entire Dothraki army just like it's holy shit, the amount of things that happen, and then just the visuals of it is impeccable, and yeah, I can't.
Oh, it's unbelievable to look at. Fabian Wagner's, photography of it, Miguel Sapochnik's direction of it, the performances, the tension that's built, the editing. It's just a fantastic episode of television. So it had to be my top 1,
Mm,
and, go ahead and run back through. What were your top 5 episodes from this show?
all right, I had 5 Blackwater, 4 The Lion and the Rose, 3 Reigns of Castamere, 2 Winds of Winter, and 1 Baelor for me.
Beautiful slate there. I, went with The Climb at 5, Hard Home at 4, Winter is Coming at 3, Battle of the Bastards at 2, and The Long Night at 1, and with that,
We did it.
we conclude Winter is Blooming. If you would, head to patreon.com/pennybloom_pod where you'll find over 50 hours of exclusive content, including all sorts of book reviews, comic book reviews, movie reviews, and the like. For $3 a month, you can support the podcast financially, which is huge because it costs me money and I don't make any off of it unless it's over there. Head to Twitter, follow at PennyBloomPod, follow on Instagram and TikTok at PennyBloomPodcast. 5-star rate and review wherever you might be listening, and to continue to download episodes. Been a rough one so far. I cannot lie.
Mm,
Downloads wise, we've not been doing very successfully. Not compared to the end of last year and even January this year. February and March, not too hot. April, hopefully it's doing a little better. But that would be a huge help. Um, but yeah, man, it was a pleasure to discuss Game of Thrones for
mhm.
so long at such length with you, man. I'm so glad we committed to the project. At times it was tough. It was tough to get through. Um,
But
Big
it
commitment,
done in the
paid
bag.
off.
Complete. The completionist in me. Oh my god. Like it's like 100%ing a video game. I've gotten every achievement now. There's nothing more I could possibly do.
Mm.
I mean, I've counted all the Hodors. I've tracked the Arya kill list. Yeah, I don't know. I think we've done the show justice.
Mm.
And yeah, very 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 proud of what we've done. It's made me a much better just viewer in general as well. over the span of this rewatch. So I do thank the show for that as well. But yeah, it's a bittersweet moment. I'm so glad that we are open up now and we can do, you know, until House of the Dragon comes around, and we'll cover it for
And that
Mondays
is, as
again.
it is
Um,
today, the 13th anniversary of the very first episode of Game of Thrones, April 17th, 2011, was the first episode of Game of Thrones. And here we are, April 17th, 2024,
would you look at
capping it
that?
off.
Would you look at that? I mean, it just
Everything happens the way it's supposed to. Um, And exactly 2 months from today, we will be doing our first episode of House of the Dragon. June 17th is our first episode for season 2 of House of the Dragon. But a week before that, June 10th, we will be doing our House of the Dragon preview for season
Mhm.
2. Me and Joe plan on rewatching season 1, not for the podcast. We will not be doing that again. We already covered season 1 in its entirety as it was airing, but we do intend on rewatching season 1 ahead of season 2, forming theories, discussing season 1, and discussing what we expect in season 2 and where we hope things go a week before season 2 airs. So Game of Thrones content, while winter is blooming is dead, fire and bloom will rise.
Mhm.
And that will be in just a couple months. Come June, summertime. It's House of the Dragon. It's the Acolyte. We got a lot to look forward to, and I'm so very excited. But yeah, this officially marks the conclusion of winter is blooming, and that is it's bittersweet, and
Mhm.
we did a little bit of that sign off with the last episode of the series, but it is
Mhm.
tough, man. It's
Yeah.
been like I feel so accomplished to have done all of this for my favorite show of all time. So yeah, we're continuing our coverage of the Bad Batch on Fridays. That only has a couple
Mhm.
weeks left, into the beginning of the first week of May. So just a few episodes left there. I believe this week brings us season 3, episode
13 is this
13.
week.
So we've only got
Mhm.
14 and 15 left. We got 3 episodes of the Bad Batch left, and that will be on Fridays. Um, maybe 4. We still have that theory.
Maybe no.
That theory is still cooking, but there's 3 episodes left for sure
Mhm.
as of yet. And yeah, but with the end of Game of Thrones and with the Bad Batch coming to a close here soon, we've only got a few. We've got a wide open month here in May, and in these last couple Mondays and Wednesdays of April. So what you can expect on Mondays and Wednesdays for the next couple weeks is John Wick, baby. We're doing John Wick 1 through 4
Mm.
on Monday, Wednesday, the next couple weeks. And then we're doing an action movie marathon for May on Mondays and Fridays. So
Mhm.
very excited for the slate we've got there. We've got Akira, Die Hard, uh, fucking Mad Max Fury Road, tons of good shit. All sorts of stuff. RRR, I believe, is
Speed
in the mix there.
Racer, The Raid,
Speed
The
Racer, The
Menu.
Raid, Sicario,
Mhm.
and then, on Wednesdays, we begin our next actor spotlight after John Wick, and that is after Dev Patel and after John Wick here. In anticipation of Furiosa, a
Mm.
Mad Max, we will be doing an Anya Taylor-Joy spotlight, and, we've already formally announced that with the conclusion of the Dev Patel spotlight, but, I'm so very excited. We've got Emma, we've got The Menu, and we've got
Last Night
oh,
in Soho.
Last Night in Soho. All of those in anticipation of Furiosa, with
Mhm.
the action movie project culminating at the point with Mad
Sick.
Max Fury
Yeah.
Road right before Furiosa. And yes,
It's
yes,
like
it's perfect.
where comic book project meets director slash actor spotlight
Yeah,
mix in, like,
we're having
yeah, I
a
don't know,
lot of
yeah,
fun.
it's like a boom.
Boom.
Yeah, it's a
It's
fun
all coming
month.
together.
Fun action
Yeah,
filled
so
month. Yeah.
there are a couple little, the Anya Taylor-Joy ones in the middle kind of throw a wrench into the whole action movie month.
Mm.
Emma's definitely not an action movie. Last Night in Soho
Maybe we'll
and The
need some
Menu have a little
breaks,
bit of
you
a
know? Yeah.
thriller.
Yeah.
They have a little bit of a thriller thing to them, but not actiony.
Mhm.
Um,
We'll need some breaks
so
from
we
all
got
the
a lot to look
action.
forward to. Yes,
And it'll be
yes.
nice every
And
Wednesday.
then that'll culminate after the action movie project in a top 10 action movies ever episode. So May is full. We've got that planned. We are on the roll now. Um, we've got the next few months planned, and I'm so very
Mhm.
excited. But yeah, with that, I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me, and it is always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and
Thank
it's always a pleasure to have you. And remember, peace, love, and bloom, and winter is coming.